crap, oh hell. Jesus Christ.
Don't be nervous. It's fine.
Stop it. A slew of Starship road closures have been posted as we inch closer to Flight 4. Commercial companies are getting into the Mars game, and NASA OIG ain't happy about Artemis. Roll the thing.
And here we go. We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be normal.
RCPA chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, with planet.
Water towers, fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside SPD off. Bring in SPD off. It's orange!
45. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage.
Look at this!
Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
If methane would be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You good? We don't need any more of these.
Welcome to another NSF Live, our Friday show that sometimes has rails but mostly doesn't, where we discuss interesting things from throughout the week. If you want a hard news show, we have Twist, which premieres every Friday, so you can watch Twist before you watch this, and then you can watch us sort of do a, director's cut, if we could even call it that, of the news that's less formal and more fun. Anyways, I'm Jack Beyer for NSF. I'll be one of your hosts for today's show, as always. And joining us, as always, is a man in a hat.
What?
Hi.
I'm the man in the hat?
Yeah, it's a good Alice in Chains song.
Wouldn't that be a box?
Well, you're also in a box. Anyways, hi,
I
EJ.
am?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm on site here live at Starbase. I was just taking pictures of things. That's what you do, right?
Yeah, what's that like? How are the mosquitoes out today?
Oh God, they're everywhere.
Right? Isn't that a pain?
Yeah, it's awful.
You put on some sunscreen, bud. You look like you might be about to burn a little.
Yeah. Anyway, how are you?
I'm average. But also joining us is Sawyer. Sawyer, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Honestly, if anyone needs the sunscreen, it's you, Jack, with the rosy complexion.
It's not even like I just get darker. I very rarely burn, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it's nerves. Every NSF Live, I turn into a frickin' tomato. Hi, I'm a tomato.
We'll change the lower third then. But also, yeah, thank you for now getting Man in the Box stuck in my head. So
It's a good
please,
song.
won't you come and save me?
It's a classic. That and Rooster. It's like either of those comes on the radio. I'm sorry, I'm turning it up to maximum and we're driving real fast. Safely, but fast. Anyways, already off the rails. Let's just jump right into. Oh, also there's Alex. Hi, Alex.
There we go. I was muted on the live stream thing. Hi, hello. I'm also gonna be around here. I guess. Yeah, checking this thing is gonna be on. There we go. That's the OIG report. OIG.
Yeah, we have some.
yeah.
We have a lot to discuss with the OIG report.
There's a lot of things.
Yes, but we also have, mercifully, a lot to discuss with Starship. So, yeah, I mean, right off the bat, we have a whole bunch of road closures. I don't want to say testing closures because Alex would tear off my head and yell at me, but road closures, that encompasses closures for vehicles rolling up or down Highway 4 and closures for testing. But Alex, since we already have you here, what the heck is going on? Is this ship static fires? Is this vehicles rolling to Massey's or the pad or a wet dress rehearsal with a full stat? Like what's your take, good buddy?
it. You can see there all of the closures on the Nexus Spaceflight app. There's a lot. Let's put it that way. There's also a lot. You can see there where it says um, like temporary primary date, temporary backup date. All of those are the transport closures and everything. There's a bunch of them. Um, I believe most of them are essentially 1 hour long, so they are to the launch site. We don't know what else is rolling out or what thing they might have in mind rolling out, but there's a few vehicles, right, that we have in mind to be rolling out. One of them already rolled out. That was sort of another thing that we were sort of looking forward to, which was Ship 30. I don't know why this is flickering, but it's flickering anyways. But yeah, the Ship 30, it was on Mega Bay 2. It rolled all the way out to the launch site. It is now on Suborbital Pad B, and we're hoping that some of those non-transport closures, the ones that are actually for testing, might be for testing Ship 30 ahead of flight 4, but it's going to be doing flight 5. So that's sort of the weird thing going on here, where they're trying to test the next ship for the following flight, I guess.
Right.
Anyways, so yeah, that's Ship 30. It's on the pad. It's waiting to be tested. And then on the other hand,
Wait,
we have
wait.
Booster
Let's
11.
let's pause.
Oh,
let,
okay,
let's
okay,
pause
okay,
there.
okay.
Okay, so
Pause.
so Ship 30 is on the pad. There are
Ship 30.
Ship 30 is on the pad. So there are
Yeah.
rollback closures as part of these potentially, or there are roll out closures. So we could see Ship 30 on the pad at the same time as a full stack is on the orbital pad. I think is that fair to say that that's plausible?
That's where I was going to go. So, on the other hand, we have Booster 11 and Ship 29, one in the high bay, one in the mega bay, not in that order. It's actually 29 in the high bay, one Booster 11 is on the mega bay one. It has also received its hot staging ring, so it's already crowned as well. So that's good. Then, if they're rolling out, does that mean we're going to get a stack? And that is exactly what you sort of took from me. Oh boy, I cannot English right now. But yeah, you took that from me. The thing that I was going to say is that are we going to have a single closure where we have like full stack testing and Ship 30 testing? Because that's also interesting to think about.
That is
We had at
interesting.
one point Ship 28 tested while also Booster 10 was tested, if you remember, in late December. So it's not unheard of to have something being tested on the overall pad while something is being tested on the suborbital pad. I don't know what you guys think. I'm just going to leave it there.
Well,
That's essentially the thingy.
that's my next question is before flight 3, we saw flight 4 vehicle being tested, right? With Ship 29 getting a spin prime. Am I remembering that right, or was it Ship 28 before flight 2?
Ship 29 before flight 3.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
It got a spin prime.
So it
Didn't
only
have time to do
it only
stuff,
spin
yeah.
primed while before flight 3. So do you think Ship 30 will only spin prime before flight 4, or do you think they'll get more than just a spin prime under their belts before flight 4 happens? EJ, are you hovering?
You know,
You might be hovering.
it's gonna catch you.
I was
Yeah,
just
Just
gonna
make
say
sure
they're
you
gonna
go
grab
in
you.
horizontally.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
There you go. Nice.
And there's gift number 1.
Oh.
Yeah, do we think they'll get more?
Oh, you're muted. You're muted
Yeah,
on,
no,
on the live
I
stream
got
thing.
it. I got it. I
Yeah,
was
there
doing
you
a
go.
booster impression,
People
guys,
are-
so the thing doesn't catch me. We're good.
Anyway, for those wondering, now they'll never know what you were saying when you did that stiffening up.
He said Jack is great. Starhopper.
Yeah, that's
Marky.
exactly what I said.
Yeah. Cool. So, questions, right? Do we think they'll get more engine testing under their belts before flight 4 with the flight 5 vehicles, or do you think it'll just be a spin prime and they'll roll it back? EJ, go first.
Say it one more time, dude. Just because
Yeah, no worries.
I'm worried about the mic. I'm like checking all my mic settings now. I'm like, oh.
No, you're good. Chad is pleased that they can hear you now. Okay, so
are you sure? I wouldn't be happy about that.
I mean, I'm happy about it.
all right,
so-
cool. All right.
The previous flight vehicles did a spin prime before
Yeah.
Flight 3. So are we going to see a repeat of that flow, or are we going to see more engine testing ahead of Flight 4 with the Flight 5 Starship? What do you think?
I think they'll probably continue with the same testing, dude. I mean, you never know. It really depends with SpaceX. Like always, it always depends, right? It depends on the how confident they are in their designs, right? Like if they're going to be, I mean, we know that they're iterative, so we know that the pipeline does change. We've seen it change between like Flight 2 and Flight 3, for instance, right? I mean, so if 4 is supposed to do, from what we can tell, 4 is supposed to do the same thing that 3 does, right? Supposed to do this. It's supposed to be more or less the same mission. So I don't see why you wouldn't use the same testing criteria unless there's some crazy hardware changes. And we know that SpaceX does a lot of iterative changes. I mean, Elon himself is set on Twix or X or Twixer or Twitter or whatever you want to call it.
Stop it.
Twixer. I'm calling it Twixer.
You're just as bad as Sean, which is remarkable because Sean is extremely bad.
Hey, Jack, what's on my shirt?
Nice.
What's on my shirt? Is it Hoppy?
Well, does it say when hoppy? No, it says when hop.
So
Point
I think
in
it really.
case.
The end is missing, so it could be Hoppy or Hopper.
Sawyer, stop it. I will say conky repeatedly on this stream if you provoke me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What's
Children.
You know what? I'm not asking. Anyway, so you know what?
No, that's what you get. You weren't here last week, so you don't get to know about conky. And if you're in chat and you have no idea what conky is, well, guess what? You should be in the members Discord and part of the post show and or pre-show because we got wild in last week's post show at the Intrepid Museum. Conky.
What?
It's an appropriate name for Concorde.
It is not appropriate, but anyway, EJ, continue with what you were saying.
For anything, it's not appropriate for anything.
I think
Not appropriate for life.
I think because Flight 3 or Flight 4 is going to be a lot like Flight 3, that they'll probably use the same testing criteria unless there's something completely different. But I don't think that there is.
I expect them to do the same set of tests. I'm more wondering timeline-wise. Like, they still static fired 29, but they did not static fire 29 before Flight 3. They only spin primed. So I guess, do we think there's going to be enough time before the next flight for more engine testing than just a spin prime, or do we think we're so close to flight that they're going to spin prime 30 and then get it the heck out of Dodge?
It'll probably be, probably spin prime and then go. I mean, yeah. I mean, the other thing is like forgive me for a second because I was checking stuff when Alex was talking a little bit earlier, but suborbital pad B is on its way out, right? And isn't that like all moving to Massey's right now? So
it is.
If we're seeing a migration of the testing equipment, right? They go in flocks to avoid a predator.
I will say,
okay.
Rocket
anyway.
Ranch, Anthony out there gave us a boat ride, and
all right,
that was like 2 days ago. So we went right past Massey's, and so we could see the ship static fire stand. Still a lot of work being done on it.
Yeah. What I was saying is like
how long until that migration happens?
I don't know, but if they're it really, I think it's really contingent on the testing hardware. Like if we're going from suborbital B to Massey's, right? How much testing you're going to see here, Right. If I had to guess, they're probably going to mimic what we saw before and go either that, or they'll wait till Massey's is good to go and then fire there. But I don't know, man. I don't think they'll be able to get Massey's up and running and ready to go, and then testing the vehicle and then send it to the pad and then fly, especially if we think, when do we think in the next flight is? I mean 4, I'd say the end of this month, right guys? Like something like that.
Yeah, I would say the last week or 2 of May would be my guess. Sawyer, it looks like you have thoughts.
He's raising his hand. Go.
Yes, teacher. Can I go to the bath? Oh no, wait.
Then you have to do the fingers crossed, right? Or you hold up.
To do it in Spanish.
You hold up one finger or 2 finger depending on what you needed. Anyways, Sawyer, please start talking.
Baño? Anyway, no. I honestly disagree. Surprisingly, I feel like they are going to get as much testing in beforehand as they can. And we've seen it before where they've done a spin prime and then a couple days later they do static fire tests of a ship. We've seen it as well with boosters. I feel like as you mentioned, Massey still isn't exactly ready yet. They
Yep.
want to be able to turn around between Flight 4 and Flight 5 in a month or less. The only way you're going to be able to do that is if you really pick up that testing campaign, and especially if it's not known when the Massey site will be ready to go for suborbital testing, basically, then use what you've got. At this point, we're talking what, potentially third week of May at the earliest here for actual flight. It's only May 3rd, so I could see them going all out, do the spin prime, and then go right into a static fire a couple days later, and boom. Then that's one less thing you have to do between Flight 4 and Flight 5.
Right. Alex, what do you
Yeah.
think?
I agree with Sawyer here in that I think they're gonna try and get as much testing as possible because when we saw the testing of ship 29 before flight 3, it is true that they only did a spin prime, but also they had to redo the spin prime test. They had a test. So we had the launch was the launch of flight 3 was on a Thursday, if I remember correctly. Actually, yeah, a Thursday, because then I had to write twist. It was glorious. Um, so the Friday before that, the week before, on Friday, we had the first attempt at the spin prime test of ship 29. But then we had closures on Monday and Tuesday to keep doing testing if they actually wanted to do more testing. The thing is, that Friday they did not complete the spin prime. They actually aborted the spin prime, and they did not do that on Friday. So when Monday came around, they did that testing, that spin prime, but they had no physical time to really complete the static fire test because Tuesday and Wednesday were already, let's get the full stack ready for flight kind of days. And so they did the spin prime, and I believe it was actually like the same night when they removed the ship and then they roll it out. Like that same day of the spin prime, they rolled it back to the production site. And pretty much the week after flight 3, we saw ship 29 going out again and doing the static fire test. So I think they just didn't do it because they didn't have time. If they had the time, they could have done it. And this time they could have it the time.
Yeah.
So it could be that they do a spin prime on Monday and then they do a static fire on Wednesday, and off it goes back to the production site. That could be a thing.
That could be a thing. I agree. And chat, y'all, if you have any questions, don't forget you can at NASA Spaceflight in chat and throw your questions in the queue here. So I guess that's
By the
sort
way-
of where we're at with ship 30. But of course, there is the full stack to talk about as well, and the full stack vehicles.
I do just want to point out, by the way, Roka in chat saying, wait, someone agreed with Sawyer?
I agree
Oh.
with Sawyer.
Thank you, Alex.
I like Sawyer. Sawyer good.
Uh,
Be nice to Sawyer, chat. Really quickly, I do want to thank some people. We've got Steven Gangsta. Thanks for coming a PadRat member. John Depker. I'm getting good at saying his name, right? Depker? Thanks for gifting 10 Red Team memberships. Lars Edblom, thanks for gifting a Red Team membership. If you get a gifted membership, be sure to thank the person that gifted it to you. Also, we have Spirit Wolf gifting a Red Team membership. RC Horseman gifting a Red Team membership. I love seeing the familiar names in chat. Bideford, speaking of familiar names, gifting 5 Red
Hey.
Team memberships. What, EJ? Were you going to say something?
No, I was shouting out Bideford.
What up, Bideford? Explorer, thanks for the super chat. They say we rock. Wilbo Tiberius Baggins gifting a Red Team membership. What's up, Wilbo? PN what? I always wonder if it's Pacific Northwest UT. That's one of those names we see pop up all the time. Hey, DM me in Discord and tell me why your name is your name. Astro Knucklehead, thank you for the support. They say evac alert. Due to restraining order, I'm ordered to give Jack Byer at least a 60-day notice before I arrive at Starbase from Northern Canada. Be it known, Jack, I'll be there in July. Hope I don't melt. Okay.
Oh yeah, bud. He's coming down there. He's coming down there, bud, to come and see you.
Oh gosh, he's gonna be real polite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna come down there and he's gonna
I-
give you some donuts and a hockey puck.
Did I argue
sorry.
with Astro Knucklehead at some point about like Hoppy or Hopper or Stubby or something? Why are they mad at me? We love you, Astro Knucklehead. Please don't be
He
mad at
can't.
me.
He can't
I'd
be
rather
mad
be
at you,
flying
bud.
an X-wing. Thank you for the support. They're saying during Raptor relights, do the turbo pumps have to come to a complete stop and then spin up again, or are they still spinning, just no fuel flowing. That
Good question.
I am not a rocket scientist, but my gut would be that they stop. I'm gonna immediately throw it to EJ, and then we'll see what Alex thinks. EJ?
Okay, so turbine machinery conversation. All right, now we're talking. So here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, forgive me, guys. I'm not a propulsion engineer, but from what I understand, like it really depends on the cadence of how you're going to like. What's your cadence for engine cutoff to relight? If we're talking about super heavy, where it's going to shut down this engine's hot stage, flip over and then relight the engines, you might be able to keep those turbo pumps spooled somehow. But pre-burners, right? We'll say pre-burner,
I wonder if you get
turbine
some kind of
assembly.
weird gyro issues with
No,
that machinery spinning.
The turbine machinery has really low moment, dude. You're gonna get some angular momentum from it, right? But see, like, here's the thing. And Alex, feel free to chime in, dude. If I'm remembering correctly, Raptor has hydrostatic bearings for the turbine machinery, and if it has hydrostatic bearings, long story short, fuel needs to be flowing, or oxidizer needs to be flowing for them to work correctly. So, in the shutdown sequence, you might be able to freewheel, and there might be some type of fuel recirculation mechanism on there, or oxidizer recirculation mechanism. I don't know, but it's possible. That would put a lot of freewheeling the turbo pumps like that. It's doable. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but it's probably. I'm not the biggest propulsion engineer, but something about that says that might not be the smartest thing to do. But who knows? Raptor's defying pretty much
Yeah, we're like
every
rapidly,
conventional thing. Like it's a ridiculous
rapidly
motor.
approaching
So
like ITAR land, or just like really proprietary engine information land.
it's not even that. It's just Raptor. What it's capable of doing is ridiculous. Like, I mean, it could be. It could be that, like, you could freewheel a turbo pump, but once again, if you a lot of turbo pumps for their bearing mechanism, so the thing that's holding, like I said, a hydrostatic bearing, or even if you have like a roller bearing or a ball bearing or something, you're going to need some type of lubrication in there, or else it'll spin. And if you spin a bearing in a rocket engine, it's not going to end well. So freewheeling the pump like that, the turbo pumps, like just keeping the turbos spooled somehow, you'd need some type of recirculation mechanism to lubricate the turbine assembly, or else it'll seize. It'll just usually when rocket engines don't work right, they explode, not the way you want them to. So that it's possible, like for a quick relight, like super heavy, shutting an engine off, most engines cut off, flipping around, lighting the engines again, maybe. But for a long period of time, I would say probably not.
Any,
It's a good question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that is a great question, because one of the things that I normally ask myself, like I wonder about, how engines work and everything. We are always told that when you flow, like when you spin up the pumps and nothing is flowing, right? Like they're just spinning and nothing is flowing, that normally that can be bad, because you're essentially creating probably like pressure differences and whatnot, and even the potential that the blades just hit the wall, so to speak, and then they crack. So when you shut down, you obviously need to stop the flow of liquid oxygen, but also stop the pumps. And one of the things that we have also been told is that perhaps the honk that we hear at shutdown from the Raptors is precisely those turbo pumps like slowing down to a halt, and essentially be like, whoop, is that does that okay? Maybe we can play the honk. I don't know if we can hear that on that video. Yeah, more or less. Yeah, you can kind of hear it.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if that's a thing of like the pump just coming to a halt. Hang on again. See, whoop, whoop, that's all the engines and everything. But right, so as it comes down to a halt, does anything flow through? is there something, or is so slow already by then that you don't really are worried that there's no flow, nothing flowing? And then also at startup, the thing that you flow is not actually the liquid oxygen. Like you normally have something at high pressure like helium that just is injected and starts the spin up. And so it's like, I don't know. It's something that it's a very interesting question. I just don't know the answer. It's me trying to ponder here live, I guess, of the potential things going on there.
It's a really good question.
It's a really good question.
Sawyer, any thoughts on ghost riding the whip? I mean, Raptor? I mean, pre-burn?
Yeah. All right.
I'm sure some of what Alex and EJ said was English, so yeah.
Cool. Moving right along. Thank you. I'd rather be flying an X-wing. Good question. Wilbo Tiberius
good question.
Baggins gifting another red team membership. John Depker, with a $10 super chat saying, with all these ships and boosters, who's up next for flight 4, 5, 6? Starting to lose track. So flight 4 is 29 and 11, right? I should know this. Flight 5 is 30 and 12, and flight 6 would be 31 and 13, which 13 just got cryo-proofed this week, so things are looking good. Sawyer B, thank you for becoming a Capcom member. You get Discord access, and you get all the other perks that are awesome, including the members-only videos and photos, the occasional members-only stream, and the pre-show and post-show to NSF Live. So that is a thing that we're doing now. We do a pre-show and a post-show. It's a lot of fun. And if you had watched it last week, what?
Stole my name.
It was Sawyer B, not Sawyer R.
Yeah.
Guess what my middle initial is?
B?
Oh, geez.
All right, wait. Everybody shut up. We have to guess Sawyer's middle name. I'm going to say Bradley. EJ, what do you think Sawyer's middle name is? Let's dox Sawyer.
Barrett.
Alex, what do you think Sawyer's middle name is?
I don't know.
It starts with a B. Just pick a B word.
A B.
No, not that one. That was a bad word that
Yeah,
popped
not
in your
that
head.
one.
Don't lie. Don't lie.
No, I'm not thinking about that one. Don't worry. Don't worry. Beagle, because he's a saw dog. There you go.
Sawyer, do you
Eagle
feel comfortable
instead of
sharing
Beagle, right?
your middle name with us, or should we move on?
I do appreciate the person that said Sawyer Brosenstein. I do like that one. Eric Frazier with that. There are a couple of people that actually have got it in chat. So
Batman?
yes, it is definitely Batman. That is totally my middle name.
Nice.
Sawyer Batman.
I do like that though. But I'd be lying if you could guess what my middle name was.
Sawyer is Batman?
Sawyer is Batman.
It's not Batman.
I'm Batman.
Wow, that was actually... Wilbo Tiberius Baggins again gifting...
We just made 2 references.
20 red team memberships from Wilbo Tiberius Baggins. Thank you so much, Wilbo. Oh, wow, and a 50-pound super chat. Wilbo, you're the best. Be sure to thank Wilbo if you got a gifted membership from them, or if you like our coverage, because their super chats help power the stream. I was going to say system. I mean, system, yeah. Powers everything. We could not do this without y'all. Adrian?
To the machine. Sorry.
Adrian gifting a red team membership. Steve Kalovic. Wow, a lot of support this episode with a $20 super chat saying, wow, we get the all-star team today from your video today that showed China's testing from an office building. Does anyone know why the side of the mountain looked like boxes? Alex?
Ooh.
Anybody?
What? Oh, okay. Yeah, the Changjiang 15, whatever, the Long March, not 15, 12.
Oh crap! I have to plug my laptop in. Keep talking.
Oh dear Lord.
Come on, Jack.
There we go. Well,
Jack?
go off.
Is he gone?
Yeah, I don't know. He just ran off for some
All right.
reason. But yeah, I don't really know why they are testing there. It kind of looks like an office building kind of thing. Yeah, I don't really know. I'm sad because it's like $20 and I don't even know how to answer their question. But yeah, there you can see Alicia talking about it.
I think I
Maybe
got
EJ,
it.
do you have something?
Bro, do I have something? This is
Have you seen the video? Because it's cool.
This is an arbitrary conversation about
That,
some
that,
random
that.
facet of engineering. Of course I have an answer.
Look at
Duh. So they're using an inclined test stand there. I'm pretty sure you're talking about
Yeah, look at that.
all that
That's
stuff
so
on the
cool.
side. So those are okay. So think about this: you have a rocket engine pointing down a hill. You guys cast your mind to or picture the test stand that's in Promontory Point, Utah, that
Yeah.
Northrop Grumman uses
Yeah.
for firing their SRBs. If you notice, rockets really like removing terrain and placing it elsewhere, right? So because they're firing on the side of a hill, you don't want
No,
to remove.
keep playing it, Kevin. It shows
Yeah.
more.
Keep playing it. Yeah. You don't want to remove
keep
the
playing.
hill underneath the building that your test stand is on. So what all those boxes are, it's concrete reinforcement. They reinforced all the dirt on the hill. And you could see that they did a couple of cuts, right? And then they stepped the terrain. That's what that's called. It's called terrain stepping. You'd use that. Stepping is used for load dispersion, right? Because that building's probably heavy because it holds a rocket engine, right? So they just poured reinforced concrete on the side of this hill for FOD and to make sure the rocket engine doesn't remove the foundation from the building that it's attached to.
Neat.
That I mean, sorry, like that's the plain
It
English
looks
way
like
of saying.
someone opened their garage and they're like, "Here's 4 engines. Let's fire them."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
I mean, if you notice the trench where the flames are actually going is down to bedrock. It's just the area around where that flame is that has see, there's bedrock down the center, but on the sides they put reinforced concrete because once again, that rocket will remove the terrain, and you don't want to remove the terrain of the building that your rocket engine is attached to. I'm pretty sure that won't end well.
Generally not. Yeah, generally not.
Yeah. Pretty sure you don't want to do that.
Good question from Steve. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
good one.
Bideford again with a $25 super chat. Thank you,
Hi,
Bideford.
Bird.
Again. You say perfect Friday night with 4 of my favorite NSFers. Jack needs to add some alcohol to his Red Bull. No.
I don't recommend that. No.
I mean, I do like
You, you really don't want to
I do-
see
I
him
do-
like that.
I
Yeah,
do like
that's
a
why
nice
I do
Jaeger
recommend
bomb.
it.
But no, nobody wants to see that. And RC Horseman needs to gift slower so I can be first for the evening. Thank you.
No.
Bideford.
Gift
Someone's saying
faster.
in chat, I said no solicitors opens flame trench door.
That's little air veil. That's amazing. Wonder how
I mean, you could do that, maybe.
Yeah. How can I get one of those installed? Musical Wolves, thank you so much for the super chat. They say, will Flight 4 launch the like button? Press it. Oh, I get it. Thank you, Musical Wolves. Chris P1341 gifting 20 Red Team memberships. Thank you so much, Chris P.
Very, very crisp.
Makes me think of
memberships there.
that pig with the legs that don't work, Crispy Bacon with wheels.
Oh,
Don't give me that look. You don't know about Crispy Bacon?
I do.
Yeah, it's very tasty.
no, the news report, which, yeah. As someone who
I
was
like
in
it in the
TV news,
hunger.
I feel bad for them, but it is funny.
It's pretty good. RC Horseman again with a super chat. Thank you. They say, great to be here for this. Sorry about it being first on the draw. So sorry about it being too fast on the draw at Bideford. I love that like people are fighting in the chat over who's supporting. Hill Country Explorers Maloney, interesting name. They say, I was in the Raptor manufacturing room at McGregor on Wednesday at 1 p.m. and the countdown clock said 10 days, 18 hours until next orbital launch. Interesting. I don't believe you, but interesting.
That'll be next Friday, which I really doubt.
Right?
don't
Yeah.
What
And
do you
anybody,
mean? Thanks
anybody
for the
that-
support.
Right.
I'm Jack Fire.
Yeah,
Right.
that is okay.
Thank you for the support. I'm sorry. Just over time, you get numb to people saying they know things because even SpaceX doesn't know a lot of the time.
Well,
Wilbo Tiberius Baggins again.
I know things.
Wilbo.
You know things? Well, see, I believe you know things, unless it's about what's a bagel, because you clearly have no idea what a bagel is.
Oh no. And Hopper and
jalapeno-
Concord.
Burnt jalapeno cheddar everything is an absolute bagel flavor. I don't care what you
That's
say.
not a bagel at that point.
All right, so off the rails. Thank you,
Anyway.
Wilbo, for 10 more Red Team memberships gifted. And another, holy cow, another $50 super chat. They say you.
Hi, Sean.
Oh yeah, Sean says hi. Sean, say hi.
Sean!
Uh,
Sean! Sean!
Wilbo says our UK government paid me £365 today. Unexpected. You get it all NSF. Oh, Wilbo.
Oh,
Thank you. It's
sweet.
insanely generous of you.
Sean!
Sean just got back from shooting in the field, so I think he needs to cool down a bit so he doesn't melt.
Hey, Jack, can you just make sure that he washes the bottom of his automobile, please?
Dude, it is like it's like every
No
day
particular
I
reason.
see another like flake, like large flake of rust coming off of it, and you know, I just imagine that my Land Rover is exactly the same. I just can't see it as well.
Hey, it's a Jeep thing, man. You wouldn't understand, okay?
That's fair. Yeah, I wouldn't because I have a functional vehicle. Hey, anyways, Wilbo
Oh.
Type K is gifting 10 red team memberships, 10 more. Y'all, be sure to thank Wilbo in chat if you got a membership from him.
Can he even hear us? You just dumped
Oh yeah,
on
he's
him.
like right there. He's like 10 feet
Oh,
away.
all right,
He
all right,
absolutely
cool,
heard
cool.
that.
Just
John
slam
Decker
dunked right in his
gifting
face.
10 red team memberships, and Bob Smith, thank you so much for the support. They say, I'm certain Jack is a happy drunk, more laughs, more better. Let it flow, bro. And depends on the day. Cool. GeoHound is asking, will they put Booster 12 on the orbital launch mount before Flight 4? I think no. Sawyer, what do you think?
I agree. I don't think so. I think at this point, the main thing is to get Flight 4 off so that then they can start focusing on Flight 5 immediately after. So right now, I think it's get everything done with Booster 11 and get that going on, tested, and then ready to launch in hopefully the next couple of weeks. And again, I think they can do the ship testing, which is still a sort of go ahead, get ahead item, so that they can then just focus on, all right, deal with any damage that occurs to the launch site. And now with the ship already tested, let's get to the booster test.
Whoa!
What?
You got buzzed.
What is that?
What?
Jeez.
What did I get buzzed for?
I don't know.
What?
Also, Jack would be the one getting buzzed with the alcohol mixed in, so just saying.
Hey.
No, but yeah, I don't know. I agree with Sawyer here as well. Like they're probably not going to be rolling Booster 12 out because they need it. They need the overall launch mount for full stack testing. To be fair, though, it is true that Chip 29 is maybe a little bit not fully done. I've seen some pictures available for members of Ship 29 from yesterday, and there's still some work to be done on the TPS. We'll see, but for those that don't know, thermal protection system, the heat shield, as you will. Yeah, I don't know, maybe another half a week or a week left. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see.
Have they been having problems with their TPS reports?
They have. They did not get the memo.
Well,
Oh.
that's another memo that we'll discuss later in terms of TPS.
Hey,
Foreshadowing.
everybody, finger guns. That's too good. Okay. Thank you. I did not expect anybody to actually do it, but thank you. Cool. Well, that is about where we're at with Starship. I mean, Alex, any additional thoughts on the Starship flow in terms of, launch site readiness or anything I've forgotten to mention?
Well, yeah, there's a thing that it's even on the title of the show, but somehow Adrian forgot to put on our notes, which is about the propellant transfer demo. Which did we even talk about that? I think it was like mentioned in passing or something.
I think we talked
but
about
yeah,
it
we
last
had-
week. We talked about the graphics and the
Yeah,
fact
right?
that we don't have
Of
to
course.
wait a super long time for that prop demo to happen because they're not going to wait till they have 2 pads. That whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we covered
yeah.
that. It's also on Starbase update
Yeah.
this week. I think it's the longest Starbase update as well.
You
we have
think?
done,
You
so-
think? You're not 100% sure because you closely track these things with like a spreadsheet? You just think.
For Starbase update, I do not have a spreadsheet. I do have it for this week in spaceflight, and the one that we published today is the second longest.
Right.
It's not the longest. The longest is the one that you did.
So to be clear, you're 100% fully aware that it was the longest. You're just saying that you think.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. Just wanted to get that out of the way.
What's
Because
happening?
I haven't really looked through everything. I will have to do that. Let's move on.
Wilbo with another 50 pounds. They say reckon that's about 365. Wilbo, insane amount of support. And it's not even just today, it's like always. So thank you so much. There's no like words that adequately express the support. So we'll keep making content because clearly you enjoy it. And thank you because we like making it. Steve says we need a drinking game when Sawyer makes puns. Which one of you would last the longest? Ooh. Well, first off, Steve, I don't know if it's like Friday night party time for you right now or what. Someone's got drinking on the brain, but yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speculate as to who would last longest, but yeah, it would be like that scene from what is it, Indiana Jones? Probably EJ and I going toe to toe.
What do
Wait, EJ, you're me.
EJ, you're Sawyer.
Huh? I am?
Make a pun. Make a pun.
Pun.
That's pretty good. I'll allow
Oh,
it.
come on. At least pretend to pontificate and think about it.
I'm leaving. I'm gonna go get a beer. I
Yeah,
swear.
Same.
I'm gonna go get a cold snack.
A cold snack.
Cold
Or a
snack.
warm snack.
Spoiler! 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 This is for the other.
I like how
There you
Alex
go.
is just in front of a wall of text as if we're in some sort of 90s educational cartoon and he's about to like shrink us into a magic school
but
bus.
that's Kevin.
And we'll go,
Kevin is the one that dictates what's behind me. He could show SBL or something.
Wait, then which one of us is Miss Frizzle?
EJ,
Fair point.
I'm Miss Frizzle?
you're Mr. Frizzle.
Okay.
I
I
mean, who wouldn't
I
want
mean,
to be Mr. Frizzle?
I can be Miss Frizzle, whatever. It's fine.
Jay is
Keeping
asking
the
if
mustache,
Hopper's getting
though.
scrapped. I almost didn't even ask this question because it scares me.
Oh yeah, McGregor life.
But we saw some work being done on Hopper today. Do we think? I don't even want to put this out in the universe. Do we think they might scrap it? Everybody, just say no and let's move on, please, so we don't manifest anything.
No.
Sawyer,
No comment.
Alex.
Zip.
All right, there you go. There's a first NSF Live no-go poll.
Wait, no go? No go?
No, it's just no. It's just no.
Just the no poll.
Yeah, it's just a no poll. So yeah, you can see the crane up there, right there. They do some work on Hopper every now and then. You know, they'll add a new radar or like change the cameras, the lights out on it. Fingers
You know,
crossed. That's all that's happening
yeah.
here.
I got a name for that poll. We could call it the probability of uniform nose. We can call it a pun.
Okay, all right, make it up for it.
There you go. There you go. It took me a second, okay?
Redemption.
Yeah, you spell it
we have a poll.
R-O-N.
We have a poll. Option 1 is no go. Option 2 is no go. Option 3 is no go. And option 4 is go.
Then there's the no, comma, go, no, go, no go,
Stop. My brain is already spaghetti.
and then
Please.
no, comma, no go.
Call the
We wouldn't get
Bondulins.
copyright claimed. I'd say start playing something by the Go-Go's, but
Ames non-stronking the Bondulins. Call the Bondulins. Please.
Luca says friendly reminder to like the stream with a super chat. Thank you, Luca. And Wilbo Tiberius Baggins with another super chat. Thank you, Wilbo, saying always look forward to NSF Live. Thanks, Wilbo.
I do too, for what it's worth.
It's fun. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
So that is that's Starship. Like, final question is when launch, which we kind of already hit on, but do we think May is still in the offing? Alex, you go first. No time to vamp.
What do you mean?
Flight 4. When Flight 4?
Oh dear.
Don't waffle.
2
just-
weeks.
okay. Oh my god.
2 weeks.
Oh my god,
There you go.
Alex.
The Elon answer. I feel powerful.
Sawyer. When Flight 4?
2 weeks.
So if you're talking Elon time 2 weeks, that means about double that. So 4 weeks. I would say either very end of the month or very beginning of next month.
All right. EJ, thoughts before we move on to our next topic?
$1, please, Bob.
Nice.
What- I'm gonna. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say tomorrow. So that means if it's any time between now and 2 weeks, I win the prize, right?
Yes.
Are we
So,
talking
yeah.
about closest
mean,
without
solid
going
strategy.
over, or just like Price is Right
Yep.
rules?
Yeah. It's
If
always
it's Price is Right rules.
Always Price is Right. Are there any other
All right.
rules?
All right, cool.
Yeah. No, we're on the same
Okay.
page.
All right, cool. So realistically, yeah, I'd say the end of the month, but also tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh well, because one day.
Yep.
It's your 1 day answer.
You can.
EJ's
It'll
gonna win the
launch.
showcase. EJ's gonna win
Yeah,
the showcase,
exactly.
and I'm
Right.
mad about it.
Starship
Yeah,
will
enjoy
launch.
your new dining room set.
And jet ski.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And a
yeah,
vacation
dude.
to beautiful Colorado, all expenses paid.
I'm in, dude. Let's go. I mean, the truth of the matter is that Starship will launch whenever you want it to launch, as long as it ends in a day with a Y at the end.
Oh boy.
Really quickly, we got a couple more
Remember that.
questions before we
Mars.
jump into the Mars stuff. Really quick, Joe is asking if I'll be there in East Coast for Starliner next week. Nope. All hands on deck for Starship Flight 4. Luca is asking, are vacuum nozzle sizes restricted by engine testing at sea level? Yes, you can have a nozzle that's too big to test at sea level, right, EJ?
When you're testing upper stage engines, unless you have a testing chamber that's available to simulate vacuum, which are few and far between, and you're also size limited there for the ones that do exist. You generally just test without the nozzle. Yeah, no nozzle.
The nozzle. Is that that's a
Yeah.
Venture Brothers reference, right?
I mean,
The
it could
dish.
be.
The
The
nozzle.
dish.
Oh, I thought we were gonna bond over Venture Brothers. Nobody knows that show. Cool.
I
Sawyer-
do, Jack.
Okay.
Brock Sampson.
I'm glad. All right,
Yeah.
Sawyer. Commercial companies are getting in on the Mars game, or at least they're being asked to study doing so. Tell us about it, good buddy.
That's a big 10-4, good buddy. Yes. So NASA has announced that they are doing studies to see if some of these commercial companies can help them out with their Mars exploration. I mean, we talked last time about the Mars sample return mission struggles. So at this point, let's see what some of the commercial companies can come up with here. And we're talking different types of concepts. So, there's the discussion of landers. There's also the discussion of tugs that can bring spacecraft out there. The discussion of communications networks, of science instruments and things like that. And so they went with a whole bunch of different companies to go through it all. So in terms of small payload delivery, they've got Impulse Space, using one of their space tugs, Firefly, adapting one of their lunar modules, and then Lockheed Martin, which has never had any issues whatsoever in terms of delivering spacecraft to Mars, Mars Climate Orbiter. Sorry, that's something in my throat there. In terms of other larger payloads, you've got United Launch Alliance, ULA, potentially modifying their Centaur upper stage. You've got Blue Origin, talking about one of their Earth lunar vicinity spacecraft, and Astrobotics modifying one of their lunar exploration spacecraft, which, again, we've seen cool stuff from them with the moon. Imagine that going out to Mars now. In terms of imaging of the surface, Albedo Space Corporation, I believe is how it's pronounced, talking about a low Earth imaging satellite that could be adapted for Mars. Redwire Space, same type of deal, a imaging, kind of low orbit imaging system, and Astrobotic again for their lunar exploration spacecraft that we just talked about to also include imaging opportunities. And then in terms of data relay, you've got Shocker, SpaceX with the Starlink network. I know it's some space exploration
Wow.
technologies. I don't know, something like that.
Must be up and coming.
It must be.
Mars Link.
Lockheed Martin again coming up with a communication relay service via one of their modified Mars orbiters, if they get the conversion correct between metric and imperial. Totally not
Oof.
harping on that at all. And Blue Origin talking about their adapted spacecraft that we were mentioning earlier, also being able to do relay communications. And yeah, each
Okay,
of
wait.
those we get somewhere between $200,000 and $500,000.
Wait. What's worse? Mixing up your conversion from imperial to metric or vice versa, or installing your accelerometer upside down?
It's one thing when it's Russia. I mean, come on. I hate to say it, but that's a very Russia thing to do, to install that upside down. But honestly, I think it's kind of worse that this was following the Mars Odyssey mission, which didn't go great. You send it out there. It's like, great, it's out there. We spent all of these months waiting for it to get there, and you lose communication with it early before it goes around the backside of Mars and never hear from it again. And then you realize, wait a minute, left hand didn't talk to right hand, and now it's Mars junk. So yeah, I think that's worse.
Yeah, that's fair. So, whole bunch of really interesting things getting studied, and of course, we'd be remiss if we did not point out MarsLink specifically. Alex, tell us about MarsLink.
Why me?
Because you were like
I-
MarsLink, you were excited about it. I thought you were.
You
Are you
shouted
not?
well, I,
Are
I
you
don't.
not excited
I don't
about it?
really.
Are you not
n-
entertained?
I mean,
Is this not why you are here? I got you, man.
Thank you.
he's just like one after the other. I'm like,
Wait a minute. He is a
Ah.
span. He's a Spaniard, Jack. So
Oh,
he might be
you
entertained.
might be entertained.
Oh.
Alex, please.
Alex is like, I don't know.
Yeah, MarsLink. It's really not a big deal. So these studies are studies. They're not, telling them, hey, let's build this and do things on Mars. It's like we've been doing all of this since forever, doing it the small little kind of one at a time kind of mission. Let's do something like clips but on Mars, right? And not just landers, because clips is just landers, it's payload services to the ground. But let's think about, for example, communications around Mars, and let's see, they're already doing that for the moon. There's this LunaNet program that they're building at NASA, where they're having these sort of, just not only studies but also probably in the later half of the decade, potentially even, you know mm, having contracts with companies to put their own constellation around the moon, to have communications, essentially non-interrupted communications and high bandwidth and all of that between the Earth and the moon, which is really good, to be fair. So why not apply all of this knowledge and all of these, drive for commercialization, if there's a company that already has a certain satellite or a certain tug, for example, the one from Impulse Space, right? Or you have even a lunar lander can act as a tug, if you really, if you strip it down of the landing legs and everything, right? It's just something that can, it has a propulsion, a guidance system, and everything, and then you can put things on top and deploy them, or even have them hosted on the thing. You can also use it like that, or even attach a camera on one end, and then you have an imaging satellite, right? Like there's a lot of these different things that these companies are proposing, where, hey, we have these products that we can use with a few modifications here and there, and suddenly I'm flickering. But yeah, so you have there, for example, that's a Mira orbital tug from Impulse Space, and so they can attach things on one side, modify things here and there, make them maybe a little bit larger so they can have a little bit more delta V and everything to be able to go around Mars and everything. But overall, if companies already have this and it's a rather cheap kind of approach, why not just send a bunch of them and get a lot of science, a lot of investigation, saying, well, maybe one of them will fail, okay, but you're sending a bunch of them at a time. That's the same thing with clips. We saw Astrobotic with the Peregrine lander. They were not able to even fire the engine at all. because they had that propulsion issue. But then, the Nova Sea lander landed somewhat, but it landed and carried payloads to the surface of the moon. So, maybe next time it'll be, who knows, maybe the second Nova Sea will not land, and then the second lander from Astrobotic will. I mean, that's the sort of thing. By having that extra risk, but it's lower, it's lower cost. You have a higher frequency. You can do more revisits. You can essentially send more stuff one at a time. I don't know. I'm trying to sell it. I don't know if anyone has some kind
I
of
got you,
discording
man.
opinion, yes, or dissenting
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, my
I,
dissenting opinion is it needs to have the word star in the name. Starlink, right? You've got Starlink,
Starship.
Starliner. So Mars Link, it's Star Mars Link? I don't know. It's got to have star in it.
Mars Star.
Stars Link.
Yes.
What'd you say, EJ?
Stars Link. Mars Link.
Yes.
Mars Link, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Heck yeah. But no, this is sort of part and parcel. I mean, I feel like I say this a lot, but this is exactly what we want to see. If we're going back to Mars, we need to start to nail down a lot of these technologies, and starting to study them and asking companies to study them is the first step in that process, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack, I mean, you get trade studies like this a lot. This is kind of normal practice for when NASA's planning on doing something a little bit down the road. Trade studies like this happen all the time, and it's just trying to figure out basically where, what industry tech is out there. I'm just echoing Alex's words at this point, but yeah, you're just trying to figure out what hardware out there could potentially be used to fit into your long-term integrated architecture, which is frankly good. That's what you want to see.
Right.
Love to see it. That's what I'm trying to say.
You love to see it, yes. And
Love
this
to
is
see it.
just a 12-week study to start. They'll post the results later. And all of this is in anticipation of hopefully having something down the line. And it's also worth noting that they clearly specify that they are still taking commercial bids for that Mars sample return mission, which I will not get restarted on that because then, you won't like me when I'm angry. But
Wait,
they're totally separate from each other. So this is independent.
Sawyer, I like you no matter what, okay? Angry, happy, delusional, hysterical, like whatever you want to do.
Delusional and hysterical? I mean, I am hysterical. I'm funny. But delusional?
I mean...
Okay, maybe now I see the delusion as I say that.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
One of the things... I was just going to be pointing out, like, one little thing only. It's about the Centaur, what ULA proposed. Because it doesn't specify, like, per se that it's Centaur, but it says upper stage of a low Earth orbit and high energy whatever vehicle. So it's obviously Centaur. They're trying to carry the Centaur upper stage all the way to Mars, like on the not actual carrying it, but like on the proposal, they're saying we're carrying this big cryogenic upper stage all the way to Mars. Which, if you think about it, a Centaur upper stage firing anywhere even close to the moon at all, for example, that hasn't happened. Like, or any cryogenic stage at all. Like, not only just Centaur, even the S4B from Saturn V. All of these upper stages, the most that they have survived in space is like 7 hours, 8 hours, maybe 10 at best with the batteries and whatnot. But they haven't done like a proper burn that far ahead. So that will be very interesting. And if you think about it, that's also what Starship eventually should have to do, right? Because if you have on orbit propellant transfers and things like that, this is also going back to the whole conversation from last week. If they have propellant transfers, you need the ships to be able to stay for multiple days at a time in orbit, which hasn't happened for any cryogenic fluid or any upper stage that is like that. And then it has to go all the way to Mars. Like, what? I don't know. It's interesting that another company that is not a SpaceX is just saying, hey, hi, we're going to do the same, whatever. I don't know. It's just interesting.
I mean, it's a good thing, right?
Smaller scale,
It's
but
sort
yeah.
of on the bleeding edge of human technology and capability and knowledge. So more companies doing it. I mean,
More better.
yeah. Thank you. I hesitated. I hesitated to say, don't steal my bit, Alex. It's my bit.
Why use less words when? Why do you use more words when few do trick?
You do trick.
There you
Indeed.
go.
Yeah.
And it took you more words to say that than it should have, so
Sorry, brain not do good much.
that better.
Yes. Okay.
Alan in chat is asking, we already have Starlink and Earth, next up Starlink and Moon, and then Starlink and Mars, and upgrade the engineering cameras for ground imaging and mapping. Yeah, that sounds basically like what the play currently is. Although we haven't really heard anything about Starlink and the Moon, have we? Am I forgetting something? I mean, it makes
I
sense.
haven't heard
I
much.
haven't, but it will make sense. Yes. I don't know if they have bid on that LunaNet program. They probably, but I'm not knee deep into that program. I do know people that are actually working on it, but I don't know. I will have to actually inform myself and read through everything.
All right, hear me out. Hear me out. This is gonna sound crazy, but just indulge me for a moment. Star LunaNet.
Yes.
LunaLink.
LunaLink.
Has to
That's
have
way better.
Star.
That's way better. But
Ooh,
it doesn't.
It was so obvious. Why did you come up with that?
Jack, I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
All right, Lumberg. What do you think?
Starloon.
Oh, that's yeah. Okay, we've reached peak star naming convention.
Yes.
All right. Well, I don't really have too much else to say about the commercial studies. Does anyone else have anything while I look for some questions from chat?
No, unless I can dunk on Mars Climate Orbiter more. No.
Do it.
Good.
Do it. Do it.
Wait.
Do it, do
All right.
it.
All right. Hold
Well,
up. Hold
actually,
up. Sorry.
I don't
Hold
need
up.
to dunk on it because it dunked itself into the
dunked
planet with the
itself.
numbering, so yeah.
Wait. Sorry. All right, Jack. Look for questions. I got a question for you though. Do you think that the Mars Climate Orbiter was a measuring system problem or a management problem?
Management.
Oh, for sure. It's like I said, it's left hand not talking to right hand here. So,
That's
I
the
think
brain's job.
the fact that it's like, great, let's do it all in metric. No, let's do it all imperial. And trust me, go Murica, freedom units are awesome, but you kind of got to decide
they're
to
not.
pick on one, and they should have just stuck with the good units, aka imperial. But you know,
Good. Yeah. No, I like
that's
that
not
answer.
going to make anyone angry in chat.
No, hey, you know what, man? I was in Rome last week. That's where I was, chat. You know, I was thinking about the Roman Empire a lot. You know, they used feet and miles, right? Okay. See? Yeah, it makes sense. It just works.
An unassailable argument, to be sure.
We used to use elbows and things like that. Like there was in Spain there was one that was elbows as one of the. You have feet and everything. We have elbows. I
What?
guess.
Yeah, isn't it like a
Yeah,
furlong or something
yeah.
from the edge
It
of the
was-
elbow to the end of the
Yeah,
wrist or something? Or hand?
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, I guess that's what it was. I'm guessing that this is Kevin saying, "Hey, we need to talk about this."
Also,
All right, yeah.
I'm being told that I need to go to the manager's office. Sorry, Chris. Horses, shuttle, help, save my job.
Yeah, horse is good. Football, dirty leads.
York
shuttle.
FC, let's go York. Yeah.
York good. Okay, I think we're safe. All right, let's move on to our next topic here. Things might get a little spicy, so everybody get a glass of milk ready.
What?
I got beer. Does
I
that
have
help?
another thing ready here
Beer counts.
because it's time
It is
to read.
okay. So yeah, there's a new NASA Office of Inspector General, or as I like to say, OIG. I don't actually like
No.
to say it. I'm gonna make it a thing. But
Oy
so-
vey.
Hoppy. Don't call it that again, or I will say it again.
Or
Conky.
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 No.
Conky.
No.
Conky.
Yeah, the OIG is not doing anything in the VAB, okay? It's the OIG and the VAB.
Conky.
Not
You and
like
me.
this. Not like-
You see?
Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
What would I
Anyway,
have to put up
what
with
was
here?
what were we talking about with the Office of the Inspector General, NASA?
Like,
Goodbye.
I cannot do a stream.
I can.
Hang on, because I'm still also like setting up my things here because I have some powers today, you know.
Hey, look, it's Artemis
I
1.
can do this. Hang on. Look at this. Look at this. I can scroll. Look at that. Look at that.
Ooh.
See?
it's very.
See? It's moving.
It's very fancy.
It's doing the
Alex.
thing.
It's very fancy. Good
It's
job.
not orange.
We're all very proud of you.
However, that's orange.
All right, for the
Yeah.
love of God, what did the OIG say?
The OIG said OMG because yeah, so there were anomalies during Artemis 1, anomalies in the sense of, things that were not expected to happen. And well, we knew about these things. It's just that now with this report, we know a lot more. I guess we know more in depth about it. In particular, the thing that we have seen, where there's multiple things that we have seen truly. It's about the Orion heat shield. So that's like the big ticket item here that we have seen on that report, which is I'm kind of putting it on the thing if we can show it, or I don't know, or don't show it. During the Artemis 1 reentry of Orion, the heat shield is ablative and everything, and it has the big 5-meter diameter heat shield, and some ablation is obviously expected to happen because it's actually like a reentry from the moon. But what they discovered is that there were over 100 places on that heat shield where there was more ablation than they even expected to happen, which is, so there's two sides to that. It's okay because even with that the capsule survived, but the problem is when things happen that you don't expect, that's trouble.
It's not
because
okay.
it means you don't understand the whole thing,
It's
right?
not okay.
You're not. Hang on, what I'm trying to get to. So, um, so on the one hand, obviously there was no loss of the capsule, and they actually looked through the data, and it is true that it was more ablation than they expected, but it will not have posed a like substantial risk or anything like it. But again, the problem here is having this sort of, oh, we're studying the heat shield and doing 10 years or 15 years of studies and blah blah blah, right? And then time comes to test the heat shield, and then, oh my gosh, there's a gazillion things that we didn't know of that happened here, and now what the heck is going on with this heat shield, right? That's the sort of thing that you don't really want to have on a capsule that the next flight is going to fly with crew. You don't know what else is going to crop up, right? It's like maybe something even worse happens. And so that's the thing that they really went through. We can see here, trying to actually pull it off. The thing just doesn't want to respond. um Boy, there we go now. So you can see maybe behind me, there you go. So you can see those sort of like patches where there's a big hole in the heat shield, and those are obviously not nominal, and they even have the circle, the red circle of doom, I guess, of that heat shield. And some of these are actually something that we spotted through your pictures, Jack. I may Before we go to the Jack pictures, though, I really want to show this. It was not just the heat shield, but also the bolts that connect the service module to the crew module. So you have the capsule thingy, right, and then the service module, and there are 4 bolts that go on the heat shield to be able to connect that. Now these bolts are supposed to separate so cleanly that the heat that they just don't stuck into the hot gas of the plasma of the reentry. 3 of these 4 bolts actually were stuck, sort of like, there was a little bit more of them out, and they ablated and they eroded away, and the risk from that is that if they completely erode, then the hot gas can introduce through that and then seep into the capsule and break it up. We don't really want that. Not again, please. And so that is one concern as well from that. And actually, there's a picture that you took, Jack, where maybe one of these bolts shows up. I don't know if maybe Kevin can pull that off. It's on one of these pictures. There you go. That is one of them.
Yep.
Maybe if he can zoom in all the way
Enhance.
to the bottom. There we go.
Enhance.
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 Just print the dang thing.
A little bit
Oh, wait.
lower.
Not that bolt. Keep going.
Yeah, that's for transport.
Yeah,
Lower.
I remember.
Yeah,
Where,
a little-
where the
little
rope
bit to
is,
the right.
you can see
There's the
that
giant hole.
bolt.
I remember when I went out to San Diego and shot these, and we did a live stream, and I just remember everyone kind of being like, "Oh, why heat shield look like that?"
Yeah.
And I even remember, you guys asked me to go over and talk to one of the experts that NASA had there, and be like, "Hey, that's supposed to look like that?" And we didn't really get any substantive answer at the time, but clearly it's not. It's not supposed to do this. It's not good. I don't see how you comfortably fly crew on the next Artemis flight. Personally, if they do, I feel like that's like some double standards kind of stuff going on there. But you know what? Maybe I'm just being a whiny baby.
I mean,
part
I
of the
don't
delay
think so.
already has been because of the issues with that heat shield, I believe, for Artemis 2. That was one of the many issues that has continued to push it back to next year. But
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the moral of the story with NASA is like you don't want to normalize deviation. You want to nail that stuff down, because as soon as you start normalizing deviation, you start running into really unfortunate and unhappy things. So
It's not just that, Jack.
Go
It's it's not just that. It's your rate of deviation. That's the big part. Obviously they don't want a hole in the heat shield, and there's an acceptable amount of heat shield ablation that can happen, right?
right.
But this clearly is, obviously it's more than what they anticipated. But the real key here would be to figure out how far did you deviate from acceptable criteria. That's the real thing that they have to learn. And I agree. I don't think that flying anybody on this is a wise decision. However, if we cast our mind back to a press conference that NASA had where they talked about moving Artemis 2 a year out, and said, NASA was saying, "Oh, we're going to fly when it's safe." They actually said that the heat shield was not your primary driver for delaying the mission. As Sawyer said, there are other things with the Orion capsule that need to be tested. But I mean, I will say this, and I think this is a very telling thing. Not even the Apollo program, like with the Saturn V did not fly with people on board 2 times. It took 3 flights to put people on top of that thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think it was kind of, I'm not going to say overzealous, because I don't like second guessing NASA, because I'm just some guy that commentates about this stuff all day, right? Like that's what we do here. But also at the same time, like you're opting for a testing regime that's bolder than the Apollo program. I think that's, I mean, and then we're shocked when something like this happens, like shocked Pikachu face, like, oh,
Yeah, and I will sort of defend, so to speak, NASA here in that because we're seeing a lot of people, especially in social media. Well, in social media, there's a lot of different kinds of people, to be fair. But even people that follow the program and everything, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is like I don't know." There's been also a part of it that's being overblown, in the sense that they think NASA is just gonna fly Artemis 2 as happy. It's just like, oh yeah, it ablated, whatever, it's okay. The crew capsule was okay. It came in one piece, whatever. Who cares, right? Like that is not really what they're doing, right? They identified the problem right away. They put together a team, and they're still working on it, but they're about to finish that investigation. They are actually, in the last few months, they said that they want to finish this in essentially the next couple of months. Essentially, they have already done the testing. They have already tried to identify the issue, and one solution that they have put forward, obviously for at least the next couple of missions, is that they can fly a different reentry profile. So by modifying the reentry profile, the conditions are more benign, and that way you don't have really that kind of more stressful reentry heating, which could alleviate the load on the heat shield, and therefore don't have a bunch of more ablation than expected. But on the other hand, on the long run, you can change the design. And so one of the things that this report is also talking about is that, okay, you're doing potentially a change of the trajectory. Cool. You're trying to mitigate that. It's like that's the right thing to do, to try to mitigate this. It's not just, it's okay. Because every once in a while, everyone thinks back to Apollo 1, Challenger, Columbia. Whenever those things happen, it was someone raised a problem of, hey, this is bad. There's something going on here that we need to look at. And a bunch of other people went like, it's okay. Cool. Well, we've done all the things, whatever, right? It's like, it has been cool before, so who cares? They saw erosion on the O-rings before Challenger, for example, and they really didn't go too much into that. They saw liberation of foam for many flights before Colombia. They didn't really go too much into that. They're not doing that here. They're actually going through and testing this and trying to modify to try to minimize all of these issues. And so this is not at all comparable. So that's what I'm trying to say here as defending, so to speak. But it's also true. Like it's not that I'm telling a lie or anything. It's just because they've been doing all of this stuff, and we see the same also from SpaceX and Starliner with Boeing. The other way around, Boeing with the Starliner. They're not going to fly until they're actually and absolutely sure that they're not going to pose any danger to the people on board. We had Dragon exploding a year before um a year before people flew on it, and we had Starliner on the first flight. It was not able to reach the station, and then on the second flight, before even trying the first time, it had the service module issues. They did not say, oh, let's rush this, whatever, it's okay. No, they went through and they tried to solve the issues. As long as they solve, that's the point. And
Okay.
what the report is saying is that they really need to make sure that these issues are solved, and that if they introduce any design changes, they're not creating any more problems. Because now you change the heat shield design, or you change the reentry trajectory, now you may be creating another problem. So that's one of the things as well that the report is trying to say, that, okay, you're trying to solve it, but be careful, because maybe the solution could also be a problem as well.
I mean, here's
Yeah.
the thing. If you don't mind me jumping in, Jack.
No, please.
Cool, jumping Jack Flash.
Now I'm mad
Nice. Nice.
They did mention, that they've basically worked on testing since then on the ground, and obviously you're not going to be able to fully recreate everything unless you actually go back into that lunar trajectory and come back from lunar orbit, or in this case for Artemis 2, a lunar flyby. But they definitely saw a lot more charring. And for me, the biggest thing is what we were talking about with those kind of the holes there, the bolts that were what attached the service module to the base of the capsule. Keep in mind, the service module has to be jettisoned before re-entry so that you actually get the full heat shield exposed. If 3 of the 4 of those saw melting, that's kind of a big deal. I mean, even if 2 of them, or 1 of them for that matter, would be somewhat of a big deal, but 3 of the 4? Because if all 4 of them melt, let's say, and you have a problem jettisoning, you can abort a launch, you have to re-enter at some point somehow. So I feel
Wait.
like it's still a concern.
But the bolts are exposed after you separate the service module.
But
They
still,
don't-
that's
they
what I
don't
mean.
ablate.
That's right. No, I know that. What I'm saying is where those are, where they saw a lot of that melting. If during that separation and then you get to the reentry and you get that melting, that's when you have the potential problem. Like I was saying, you've got to have it. It has to be jettisoned, so it's going to have to reveal the bolts, and then it's going to have to re-enter regardless. You have no choice unless you want to keep people in space forever.
I mean, definitely keeps people in space forever, but not like that. Not like that.
Yeah, No, preferably by choice.
So, we do have an interesting comment / question from Ryan Caton in our back channel saying, maybe this is a stupid argument, but in my opinion, this is Ryan talking, the heat shield did its job during Artemis 1. Ryan and Sean the sheep inside survived. They're now making the heat shield better. What's wrong with that? And we can go around the horn if you guys want, but my immediate response would be, yeah, but they already thought it was good, and they saw some unexpected char loss or extra ablation or whatever you want to call it, melting. Um, yes, they're making the heat shield better, but without further testing, who's to say that they won't still see unexpected
Yep.
burn through or ablation or what have you? I mean, EJ, safe to say, like I know we sort of just agreed on the probably shouldn't fly humans on the next Orion.
Yep.
Like safe to say, more testing would be needed for a vote of confidence, or do you think just like, hey, they're making it better, it'll be fine, it already did fine? Like I suspect not that, but
Okay. Let me give you the diplomatic answer first.
okay.
Uh,
And then
yeah.
and then
so
spicy.
Ryan,
Is it diplomatic first,
yeah,
then
yeah.
spicy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
absolutely. Um, so Ryan, that seems like the smart thing to do, but what really, really is important here is to understand what your spacecraft is doing. Understanding your spacecraft and its modes, particularly failure modes, will. I don't care if you're using iterative design or if you're using like waterfall testing, like you wait until you do everything all at once, like what NASA does, or you rapidly prototype like SpaceX does. Understanding your spacecraft and understanding how it works and understanding its different modes is so ridiculously important. Especially now is the time to learn. Now's the time to learn about this stuff, right? Because you don't want to learn, you don't want an unknown happening. Like, oh, I don't know, you go to stir the tanks and the Teflon seal in the tank explodes, and now you strand 3 people on a translunar injection trajectory, right? Like you don't want stuff like that. Now would be the time to learn and understand this behavior. Now, with that being said, I don't think that this is what NASA really wanted. The way NASA is doing testing, you generally don't want to learn anything. Like these tests are more like a final exam rather than prototyping and then figuring something out, right? You don't want to learn anything new when you're taking a final exam at school, right? But if you want to go and get that good grade, you have to go and figure out where you made a mistake and then retake the exam, right?
Right.
So I don't think that upgrading the heat shield, yeah, it'll make it better, but I don't think making it better is really what NASA's necessarily looking for. They want to make it work, right? You go start changing things, you try to upgrade things, you try to make it better without understanding that behavior. You're introducing more points, potentially more failure modes, and that brings. So I kind of agree, but that's a good point to make, dude. I think absolutely, but I kind of disagree there. But I'm kind of half and half. That now with the diplomatic thing out of the way, and
Yes.
Ryan, this is not a knock at Ryan. Like this is not a knock at you. Orion needs to be tested more. It just needs to be tested more. There should have been some type of low Earth orbit campaign with commercial contractors or something, getting more testing and more understanding how this thing works. Now, if that means in the future launching Artemis 2 uncrewed, so be it. So be it. That would really suck. But the more testing, the better. If you're gonna, I said this test is like taking a final exam, right? If it's like taking a final exam and you fail the final exam, well, guess what? You're going to summer school, man.
We need more
Take it again.
pre-tests. Yeah, more pre-tests, more practice tests.
No back channel. I will not knock Ryan. Ryan's cool.
That's
no
just,
back channel.
That's just
bad
Dan.
Back channel.
Don't listen to Dan. Nobody listens to Dan. Nobody likes Dan.
We made some refreshments, Dan.
But yeah, I mean, so this brings up a question from Eric Frazier in chat. What up, Eric? One of those names we see all the time. They say, so throw the next Orion on a Falcon and put it in Leo. We can't waste an entire SLS on this. Here's the
now
thing,
we're talking.
Though.
I like that idea.
Could Falcon 9 lift Orion? And 2, it's not going to be coming back on a lunar trajectory. If it's going to low Earth orbit, can you still simulate the sort of heating regime that you would? Alex is shaking his head. Sawyer is shaking his head. So, yeah, I mean, I understand the sentiment because nobody wants to see Artemis 2 launch and another SLS thrown away without launching crew on it because of the huge expense and time that it takes for each SLS booster. But are there any plausible alternatives to roasting an entire SLS on another uncrewed test flight, or is it just sort of like that's all we got?
It's ironic because I actually think it will be possible to do it on an SLS, but we're already maybe too late. Because here's the thing: the problem with SLS is actually no longer the production of SLS, at least for now. Because Orion is too late for Artemis 2, and then for Artemis 3, maybe HLS is going to struggle a little bit, just like my camera is struggling right now. I don't even know why. But yeah, the thing is, the problem is actually with the ICPS, with the upper stage on. Hang on, maybe there's some thing here that I can even show about that. But essentially, the thing with SLS is that there we go. You have here the ICPS. Boy, I'm not gonna
Like,
do it. Anyways,
dude, you
yeah,
gotta
you
get
have the
better at weather
ICPS, you
manning.
have the core stage, whatever. It's a very complicated system, but the core stage, they can pump that maybe one every couple of years. There's 2 years left. Like they already have a core stage ready. They have an ICPS ready. They could launch Artemis 2 any day now if they had an Orion. Well, any day now. If they had an Orion ready to go, they could probably launch it this year. And then in 2 years, you launch the actual crew in 2026, I guess. At the rate that Artemis 2 is going, it may very well delay to 2026. So you could, in theory, do that. The problem is that ICPS that I was talking about, they only have 2 extra more until they need the exploration upper stage, because they're the production line of ICPS, it's the same one as the Delta 4 Heavy and Delta 4, so it's already shut down. There's no more chances, there's no more of that. So if they have a flight that is not to low Earth orbit, that is beyond low Earth orbit, that is all the way to the moon and back to test that heat shield, then you cannot carry Orion on SLS with an ICPS unless you want to wait around to do whatever is like the 4th mission on exploration upper stage, potentially in 2028. So there's a way to do Artemis 2 uncrewed and have it done relatively sooner than otherwise than with crew. But yeah, there's trouble there. Yeah.
And I know Max was just posing in the back channel. I've seen a couple people say, well, why don't you just take it, throw it on top of a Falcon Heavy, and then do sort of an EFT2 in a way? For those who don't remember 2014, EFT1, they basically launched the Orion on a very high arcing trajectory to try and simulate closer to a lunar reentry. Uh, but you're not getting the same data. I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking about a spacecraft that launched on SLS, went all the way out to the moon, spent about a month, came back, and then had to deal with the full force of lunar, re-entry from a lunar trajectory, which is a lot faster than even a high Earth orbit. So I don't think that's necessarily practical. And going back to Ryan's comment, again, no dunking on Ryan here.
No, let's all dunk on Ryan.
Why?
He has
I don't
beautiful,
wanna-
luxurious hair. Wait, that's not a dunk. Come back to
No.
me. Go ahead, Sawyer.
You talk about the fact
Not
that
doing
Shaun the
that
Sheep
right.
survived, yes, as did the Moonikins and all of that. But here's the thing: it's anomalous, and it's like, well, yeah, they did survive. We just talked about it recently on Shuttle Sunday. They saw a burn through on one of the O-rings on launch, and it sealed itself. So they're like, okay, that's no big deal. And it happened a couple times over and over, so they figured it's normal and fine. Then came Challenger. Same with the foam that was falling off. The mission before, they saw it fall off and damage one of the solid rocket boosters. It literally dented it. And then when they saw it hit the shuttle, managers ended up going, no, we've seen it before, it's fine. If you get into that same mindset of, well, we've seen this before and it survived, then
Yeah.
you run that risk. I don't want to say of just complacency, but like you were talking about, the acceptance of deviation being normal.
Sawyer, that's right. It's all about the rate. It's not that it deviated, it's how far did it deviate from what you want it to do. That's the really important part to understand. Because anybody can say, oh, this didn't go right. How far did it go right? Or how far did it go wrong? Like, how far did it go right too? I mean, you want to learn that as well, right? Like,
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah, it's just it's disheartening. I am disheartened. I know, like, yeah, we try to keep things cheery, but I mean, here's a question from Joe that sort of encapsulates it. They say, why is the heat shield an issue 50 years after Apollo? How is it better? Or were Apollo astronauts just at a greater risk back then? I mean, it's a capsule. It's nothing new. Why is this like? Are we unable to manufacture an ablative heat shield because we
I
can't use all kinds of crazy toxic chemicals that we could in the 60s? Or are we just failures? Like what?
Also, shout out to encapsulate what we're talking about.
I didn't even realize I was doing that.
That was good.
I can say that Orion Apollo was a lot more risky in how they were doing mostly anything. Like the safety and the margins were razor thin, right? It's like it's really tight, and they were very lucky that things went so well. Um, I guess that's probably why everything, they went into shuttle, and they went with the same mindset that, hey, we went to the moon and everything, so this is okay. And then Challenger happened, and yeah, everything. But I will say one thing, and is that maybe it's not that bad of an idea to fly Artemis 2 with crew for two things. The first of which is that they're not going to orbit the moon. So hear me out. When they do Artemis 2, the profile is they launch into a high Earth orbit, then they separate from the ICPS, they turn around, they do proximity operations and whatnot with the ICPS just for testing ahead of, docking with the HLS and things like that. And then they stay on that orbit. It's an high Earth orbit around Earth. It's not going to the moon. It's just a highly elliptical orbit with a period that is about 24 hours, so that when they come back, they are able to then go to the moon. Now, that going to the moon will be done with the service module with that AJ-10 or former um, overall maneuvering system engine on Orion. They will use that to be able to push all the way. So essentially going from that high Earth orbit all the way to the moon. They could just not do that and re-enter from the high Earth orbit instead, and still testing the ecosystem, the environmental control life and support system on Orion. They could test the maneuverability of the capsule, essentially testing also the docking systems, the rendezvous, and everything. They can do a whole lot of things with crew on board that doesn't pose a risk with a high speed re-entry, that high ablation kind of thing, and still fly it with crew. And I guess it will be some sort of like a weird mix of Apollo 7 and Apollo 9, where it's Apollo 7 where they put for the first time people on board of Apollo, but they also didn't go to the moon, right? And Apollo 9 was sort of like around the Earth as well. I don't know. It's kind of that mix of things, and they also tested on Apollo 9 all the docking system. Yeah, it will not be actual the docking, but you can test things like the radar guidance and whatnot. So they could still a huge amount of things on Artemis 2 with crew without posing any risk in with the reentry part.
So,
I don't know. There might be
like an Artemis 1.5.
yeah, kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm I disagree still. Ding ding. But to me, it's just again, what are you getting out of it at that point? Yes, you're testing the ecosystem, but technically, they tested the ecosystem on Artemis 1. Even if it wasn't real humans on board, it was still they had everything needed, everything running. They could test the environment, things like that. If you don't have HLS yet, what are you going to dock to at that point? So you're testing maneuvering, which we've already seen that it can maneuver. You're testing a slightly higher reentry, that's basically what we saw with EFT1. And like I was saying earlier, you're not getting that full force that you absolutely need. So you get Apollo 7 with the capsule test. Apollo 9, you can't really test docking with the lunar lander. So for me, it's a 1.5 makes no sense to do. At that point, might as well just test everything out to the moon rather than in low Earth orbit. I know it's more risky, but
But to be fair, the only point of testing it to the moon is just for the reentry from the moon with crew on board. Like I don't really think they don't go around the moon, as in they don't go into orbit. They just do the free return trajectory around the moon, and so they don't really do anything that is special. Um, in terms of the maneuverability, like for example, the long endurance of Orion around the moon, they already tested out on Artemis 1 how the propulsion systems and the communications work and things like that. The only truly thing, I guess, is the part of actually sending humans deep space around the moon and then doing the reentry with people on board. Then they can say, oh, it was super hot or it was super high G or whatever. Like I don't know. It feels to me that a lot of the things of, oh, it needs to go around the moon. It's like, okay, it already did that on Artemis 1. I don't know.
EJ, thoughts? It looks like you have thoughts. You look like you're you're deep in thought.
or
I'm
constipated.
genuinely trying to listen. um, just okay. That was a long response. There's nothing wrong with that. Just we're still talking about like why haven't we done this in 50 years, right? Like that's where we're at, right?
Yeah.
I was just trying to keep up.
Yeah.
I mean, my thought is just genuinely, hey, Orion's a different spacecraft. It does use Avcoat, which is very similar to it's a honeycomb injected epoxy, very similar to the Apollo CSM. However, it's a different spacecraft, and Orion's designed to do stuff that the Apollo CSM frankly isn't. I said it. It's a more complicated vehicle. It's for one, it's just higher mass. Two, and it's not that we haven't forgotten how to do this stuff. I mean, certainly we're gonna have to shake off the cobwebs somehow, right?
Right.
But I think you can't look at the Apollo CSM and be like, oh, it's good. That one worked. This one should work too. It's the same heat shield. That's a really good way to get somebody hurt. It's a really, really quick and easy way to, in just 2 easy steps, you will break your legs on this spacecraft. Like that's probably not what you want to do. This stuff needs to be metered. You need to understand this. However, like I think there's an elephant in the room here that we're saying like, oh, launch it on an SLS, do another reentry, or put it on low Earth orbit, put it into low Earth orbit, put the Orion capsule up there and test it. However, the big thing here is that there's no flexibility here. There's no flexibility with mission timelines because of how the SLS program was procured.
Right.
And I think that's the overarching problem here. The overarching problem here is that SLS it's not derived from Ares 5. It's a shuttle-derived launch vehicle, right? But it has no Ares 1. And I know people like either hate Ares 1 or like Ares 1. The point is there's nothing to get that capsule up into space and test it in low Earth orbit if something like this comes around.
Right.
You're not going to be able to test reentry down here. You can't do that. There's no testing regime. There's no testing, no test stand out here. Not even there's arc jets, but that's used for small scale thermal protection testing. At the end of the day, you got to have something up there to send it up there and fly the dang thing.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I think at this point, more data is better than no data. I mean, if you want to put an SLS in the critical path of testing Orion's heat shield again by sending it out to the moon and just basically doing Artemis 1.5, yeah, so be it. Kiss going to the moon goodbye for another at least 5 years with people, right? If you're going to do something like that, because SLS procurement has been awful.
Right.
It's terrible. It's like one core every year, maybe one core every 2 years at this point. They want one core every year by the end of this decade.
One core every 18 months or so right now. But yeah, by the end of the decade, one a year, which is just like old space, classic old space, like abysmally slow. It's like, why aren't people interested in space? It's like, this is why.
Dude, the Apollo program didn't work like this.
This decade is out, as opposed to we choose to make one core per year before this decade is out.
There's always the possibility to just put Orion on a ship without the nose cone, and then you have
Stop it.
super heavy Starship, and then
Stop it.
you send it
That
out.
is so cursed. I'm pretty sure Multispace is going to make that in KSP now.
Wait a
Hey,
minute.
I'm
Put it-
all for it.
Put it inside Starship.
Yeah, what could go wrong? Well, yeah, I mean, not a fun bit of news from the OIG, but really quick,
Oik.
before we do some more support and take some more questions about Orion and whatnot, I did want to ask everybody what they made. So this report came out, and good old Eric Berger over at Ars Technica wrote an excellent article about the report and singled out some comments on the part of NASA. If I may read the quote here. NASA is dedicated to continuous enhancement of our processes and procedures to ensure safety and address potential risks and deficiencies. However, the redundancy in OIG's recommendations does not help to ensure whether NASA's programs are organized, managed, and implemented economically, effectively, and efficiently. That's like some business speak, like per my last email, everything's fine. Stop asking about Orion. It's just like it comes across as not necessarily the attitude that you would want. EJ, am I hurting you physically? I apologize.
Yes and no. Yeah, it's kind of funny to see. I've never seen NASA get that feisty about something
Right?
like that.
Yeah.
Like there's been times where NASA hasn't agreed with the OIG. That's happened before. But I mean, it's interesting that this report came out because I mean, even
Let me see if I can find it.
yeah, even after when they announced the delays and say we're launching when we're safe, they said that the heat shield was not that's not your bottleneck in your deviance. It's the acceptance testing on the environmental control systems. So that's like I don't mean to be that guy, right? But Kathy Corner could be right. She could be correct.
On the one
the
hand,
other
I understand when you're like head down working hard and you have someone looking over your shoulder and you're like, we're working on it. Like, you haven't told us anything we don't already know. Like, I understand that sentiment.
I lost it.
At the same time, this NSF Live is now just Alex narrating, looking at documents.
Yeah, I lost it. Sorry. I actually was trying to get it ready.
See, I lost it long ago, but different it.
Right. So yeah, I understand the sentiment. I also, I mean, this kind of statement, as Eric points out in this article, is typically vetted by many people before it goes out. So clearly, this isn't like an isolated individual's thoughts. This is sort of NASA official, not super happy about the oversight. So
Guys,
I don't know. I wanted to bring that up and just see what everybody's take was on it, because it was a little bit cringe to me.
I mean, dude, they've disagreed before. NASA's disagreed with the OIG before. They've disagreed with GAO before. They disagree with OIG. It's at the end of every single OIG, NASA response to OIGs and NASA response to government accountability. And in the past, they've been right. Just saying. Like, I can't think of a specific example, but they have disagreed completely with the OIG, and guess what? They've been correct. The OIG isn't there to be like person looking over your shoulder. Think of it like, okay, I'll say baseball, right? It's like a batting coach. They're there to help you to make sure that you got everything right. It's like if you're a baseball player, it's a hitting coach. That's basically, they want you to hit a home run. And I think that article's kind of making something about nothing. You know what I mean? They've disagreed before.
Yeah.
We've never really heard them be a little like that particular before, but they have been feisty like this in the past, not as much as this per se, but NASA disagreeing with OIG and basically being like, no, OIG, go away. Nobody wants you around. That's happened before, many times.
Yeah.
Yep. So, as the kids would say, NASA is going, what, the Sigma to the OIG?
No. Don't.
All the way to 2024. But I mean, yeah, it's basically, it's the Inspector General is meant to be separate from NASA, which is both a good thing in that they can hold them accountable, but also a bad thing in that they're not always in the throw of things. They're not fully involved with the NASA part of the program, so they're not neck deep in the work that they've been doing on this heat shield. And there may have been other conversations behind the scenes that are saying, you know what, here's the risk level, and here's where the acceptable risk is, and we're within that safe level. Whereas OIG is going, but is that really safe? What's your safe level? And they don't get to see it.
Yeah.
I was gonna make anyways, no.
Yes, do
leave,
it.
we'll
Do it.
leave. No,
Do
no,
it.
that joke is
Do
gonna
it.
stay. No, the joke is gonna stay on the counter.
No, do it.
let's do some support from folks, and then let's do some viewer questions. Spirit Wolf, thanks for gifting a Red Team membership. Bideford again with a $25 super chat. Thank you so much, Bideford. Once again, they say, okay, love our sweet Sawyer the Punmeister. I will hurt anyone if they say anything negative about what your opinion is. Go for it. All right, Bideford looking out for Sawyer. Wilbo
Thank you.
Tiberius Baggins with a 50-pound super chat again. They say some was left, guys. EJ was great fun. Thank you, Wilbo. We appreciate it so much. John Depker again. Thank you for the super chat. They say, what's the difference between Orion's thermal protection shield and Crew Dragon's? Crew Dragon's uses phenolic impregnated carbon ablator, right?
You
Pica?
got it.
And
Pica.
and Orion uses Avcoat, two different ablative thermal materials. I don't really know beyond that. Like,
so Avcoat is it's an epoxy phenol formaldehyde resin. That's what it is. And do I know what that is? No, I have no clue.
it's an
I understand
epoxy
some of
phenol
those words.
formaldehyde resin.
Yeah, there you go. Supercalifragilistic, obviously. Jeez.
Alex, what are you doing?
That's the actual part of the report that says the thing.
And then, SpaceX is a
there you go.
phenolic impregnated carbon ablator. It's actually a special mixture of it. They're using Pica X, which
Yeah,
is
it's like a proprietary SpaceX version, right?
I thought it was
yeah.
You're kind of talking heat shield
Maybe it's supposed to
tiles
finish.
versus injectable material into a honeycomb structure, even though it does appear to look like tiles.
Ah, that's a good point,
They're
Sawyer.
both tiles. Both are
Yeah.
tiles.
Just
Yeah.
slightly different
What?
of how they're basically put together
Well,
before they're
tiles,
attached.
as in they are tiles in the sense that you can't. It's like a mosaic kind of thing, right? Like you put them together piece by piece instead of being all a one piece heat shield.
Master Toy Maker is saying a normally, the new companion to Norminal. We've had
Yeah.
Normally. I like it. Actually, I really like it. Bob
There's
Smith,
the new
thank
name.
you. Yeah, that's the new name for NSF Live. Normally. Bob Smith, thanks for the super chat. They say Artemis 2 objective of bring crew back safely not listed. Stating the obvious, but they should state the obvious, I think. That's fair. John Norton, thank you for the super chat. They say, I know this is off topic, but for Starship, could SpaceX move booster QD to top of booster where ship QD is and then build new QD for ship? That, I do not see that happening.
No.
I'm imagining like a waterfall of tons of propellants from the top of the tank into the bottom, like that just,
All the way down.
yeah, static electricity stuff, probably heating, probably,
Yeah.
just all kinds of things that I'm not a fluids engineer, but that just seems like a no to me. Pacific Northwest, PNW, whatever. Thank you for gifting a Red Team membership and confirming in DMs that you are in fact from the Pacific Northwest, West Coast, Best Coast. And John Depker, thank you for the extremely generous $50 super chat. Y'all, that's a huge amount of support on this one. This is perhaps one of our most supported NSF lives ever. So from all of us, thank you for the support. We could not be doing any of this without y'all coming out and helping us do what we do. So thank you. What do you say we do some old questions here? A couple more questions.
Hit it.
Father Peter J. Shaw. God, I know we always say it, but it's always fun to see the familiar names. So many regulars. They're asking, could a Starship dock with an Orion capsule in low Earth orbit, transport at the correct velocity and trajectory, and release it for re-entry, thus saving an SLS.
Say that question again.
Can they use Starship to dock with an Orion and replicate the Artemis 2 trajectory without using an SLS? My immediate...
How do you get Orion into Leo?
Say what?
How do you get Orion into low Earth orbit in this analogy? Are we launching with an Orion attached to the top of the Starship, or?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Falcon or Falcon Heavy, whatever it would require. But yeah, I don't think anyone's going to do the cursed idea that, what was it, Alex had, to put an Orion on top of a Starship.
I think that's better because then you don't need to launch Orion. Like, you still need to launch Orion into low Earth orbit on that supposed scenario, right? Why not strip down a super heavy booster and a ship, just have the tanks and the engines and the basic guidance systems, throw out an Orion out to the moon? And because if you remove all of the recovery hardware, you make everything just thinner and everything, right? And so you get more delta V, you get more impulse, you can throw it out
How much does
to the moon.
How much does Orion weigh? Like, how many tons?
It's about 26 tons, 27 tons. Yeah.
Okay, so
it's heavy.
Current Starship could lift it.
What about
Whoa.
launch
No,
vehicles that are actually getting into orbit at the moment? No offense to Starship.
Yeah, no, that's
Rip.
valid.
Hey, hold on. It actually went into orbit. Sure, the orbit, whatever. But that
With
was
a-
on purpose.
With
It
a
actually
positive
went all the
perigee
way
that will not have it re-entering immediately after.
I am EJ.
Wait.
But that was on purpose.
EJ, save us from the bickering children.
No, but legitimately, is there a vehicle that is currently flying that will allow for multiple orbits that could launch Orion's weight?
All the way to
Exactly.
the moon?
Well, no,
It's only
let's even
SLS.
just say to low Earth orbit to dock with Starship.
Falcon Heavy could do it. And you might even be able to reuse the side boosters in that case.
Guys, Falcon 9 could do it. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, it's too heavy. It's too heavy. So first of all, Orion in full lunar configuration, full fuel is 33,000 kilos. Okay. That's 68,000 pounds and change or something like that. But, Apollo used the Apollo CSM to go to low Earth orbit too. You know what they did to make it lighter? They took some of the fuel out, because why do you need that, right?
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
you take some of the fuel out, you get it down to 25 metric tons. Now you can launch it on a Falcon 9. You could even do a drone ship landing with a Falcon 9, provided the upper stage can take the loads from that high mass of a payload. Now, Falcon 9 probably doesn't have the delta V to do a complete LEO insertion with an Orion capsule that's half fueled or even partially, like an eighth, let's say you got a third of a tank. You got a third of tank of gas, right? But you can use the surface propulsion system for insertion here. You can use the OMS engine that's on the back of that Orion as God intended for low Earth orbit orbital insertion. Just saying. No, it's completely doable. I think that's doable. The one thing that you'd have to figure out is loads. I'm not sure Falcon 9 would be able to take that type of load. The flight dynamics of that high mass of a payload up there. Obviously, you're getting into aerodynamic configurations now, because Orion needs a special fairing on top of Falcon. So it's not just put it in a Falcon 9 fairing and call it a day, right? That's not really.
Oh,
You're putting yourself back into wind tunnel testing here, and you that's a lot of different types of testing. But
I saw someone in chat saying none of these things will be approved, and I'm like, oh, sweet child. We're
So
just talking here. We know this is not going to be approved.
Yeah, I mean, none of
Here's
this is even likely to happen, but we're sort of just going through the deck of cards and imagining what,
Rambling off.
yeah, in a better world, in a more competent timeline.
Alternative.
In a better world, shuttle would
That's-
still be flying, but that's another story. Also, Constellation would be a thing. But
Also X-33.
yes, all
Also
SSPOs.
Dinosaur. Also Maul. Also, yeah. Anyways.
But anyway,
Also
See-
Skylab
also,
was
it's-
rescued
I
because
guess-
shuttle flew in time. Yeah, they're a different timeline.
also, I guess that would be what the capsule's about 5 meters in diameter, I believe. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that would fit.
An adapter
Need an
could be
adapter.
made.
right?
You can make an adapter there. I mean, that's probably the least of your problems,
But-
Sawyer, to be honest with you.
Because I also saw a few comments in chat saying, "Oh, it doesn't fit because it's Falcon Heavy. It's too narrow, and you cannot put a 5 meter diameter thing on top of Falcon Heavy. The fairing is 5.2 meters wide.
Yeah.
Just saying,
Ooh.
and it already carries a fairing 9 times, 9 Heavies,
9
I mean,
times?
the
9 times.
another, in our theoretical scenario here, another thing is that Orion needs to be vertically integrated. And how are you going to do that with Falcon? You'd need some type of vertical integration building to be able to. Hey, wait, dude. I think you might be sick. ¿Estás enfermo?
Yeah, boy.
I think you might be sick.
I guess.
Yeah, geez, yeah, right.
Uveitis.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's possible, but see, the one thing that I don't mean to like draw this all to a close, but the one thing is that like anything is possible here, right? With enough willpower, you can make a tuba fly into space, right? Or a wheel of cheese, or a Tesla Roadster, right? That seemed far fetched at the time, but it really comes down to like, what's the best way for what NASA's trying to solve. Now, it goes back to the heat shield. I contend to say that low Earth orbit for Orion and testing the heat shield up there is probably going to get you more points of data faster here. But at the end of the day, it's a procurement problem, right? We're in a scenario here where the reason why we're even discussing this is because we're in a scenario here trying to make up for the fact that we don't have enough SLSs to sufficiently test Orion's heat shield in a timely manner. That's the real thing that you got to look at here. Procurement is frankly terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't mean to be that guy, right?
No,
like,
be that guy. Like,
sorry. And pardon me, like, I don't know more than NASA, but honestly, you got yourself into a little bit of a pickle here where you got to waste an entire Super Heavy launch vehicle to test that heat shield again.
Yep.
Like, that sounds like not the best integrated space program was planned this time around. You know what I mean?
Right.
However they do it, we need a lot of cameras so that we can stream it.
I agree.
A couple
Just
more
saying.
questions. Elhudio Games is asking, ignoring getting it there, could a Dragon survive a re-entry from the moon? They were going to do
It's
Great Dragon at one
possible.
point, weren't they?
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, we'd have to go look and find some of those trade studies for Pica X at lunar or trans-Earth injection velocities. I mean, the difference here between coming back, hitting the atmospheric interface from low Earth orbit is like, so you're hitting EI from low Earth orbit at like 9 kilometers a second, give or take. It's probably a little bit more. Coming back from the moon, you're pushing 12. 11.8, 11.9, 12 kilometers a second at entry interface. That's not a small difference in velocity by any means. You're
Right.
falling from a lot further away.
Right.
Also,
Go ahead,
take
sir.
a look at what the CRS-30 capsule looked like, which I believe you were able to see on Space Coast Live 24/7 as FleetCam captured it
Oh,
returning
dang.
earlier. But
There we go.
I mean, just look at those, how toasty they actually get. It's amazing that they're able to clean them, refurbish them, and fly them again. And then again, that's just from, 250 miles up? So, hey, speaking of, there is a look at Space Coast Live.
All right.
Yeah, no Dragon's there though right now.
Not at the moment,
It
no.
went to the naughty side of things. Yeah, the location that Dragon is right now, it's not visible, unfortunately.
I'm just going to ignore what you just said, and we're going to move on to another question. Falcon's Maze. Excellent movie. I'm going to have to watch War Games tonight. Thank you. They say, any chance the chunks came off of Orion's heat shield from impact with the water? I mean, I think if that was the case, we would be reading that differently in the report. I mean, what do they call it? Unexpected char loss. They didn't say, unexpected water impact damage. Fair question.
Neither of them are great acronyms, but yeah.
And
I
it will
would
have look different as well. Like if it was with the impact, you will probably have like a very clear mark of where the impact happened and things like that. If it's more random locations and things like that, then that's more of a char liberation kind of thing.
Hey, Kevin, can you bring up that shot of the bolt, the attachment bolts? Yeah, if we could get that shot up in here, it's probably good to explain something. So you have that bolt down there. So they were talking about the bolts and they were talking about char through on the bolts, right? But if
Right.
you look at that bolt right there, it's rusty. I'm pretty sure reentry doesn't rust things, right? So think
Yeah.
about that for a second. Reentry don't rust things. So that tells me that if they're taking a picture of a bolt and saying the bolt is getting charred during reentry, and they see that it's rusty, I'm pretty sure you don't rust. Stuff doesn't rust from reentering. It rusts from being oxidized in salt water. So that means that the behavior of whatever happened to the heat shield when it dunked into the water was understood, right? Or else they would have made it a thing to say, like, you see, it's rusty. It's very rusty because it got dunked in salt water, right?
Yeah, I'm curious if how much of that deformation that we see there is rust, because it's not like it was in the water for weeks, right? But clearly there has been some corrosion there aside from whatever melting or heating.
Well, you're looking at the physical shape here, right? Because you're not going to get rot from it sitting in salt water for, I don't know, a couple hours.
Right.
You're not going to it's not going to physically deform the shape, right? The deformations in that are definitely from the charring from reentry. The rust texture is from the salt water. I can say that pretty dang definitively.
Yeah, well, that's
I like
weird,
old
though.
cars. I know what rust looks like.
You would think that once they get the capsule on board the ship, that they would just hose it down with some fresh water. Like,
But am I not wrong that you can still get oxidation during that reentry portion?
I don't think you're wrong. No, I don't think you're wrong.
Because that could be part of it. I mean, sure, some of it is likely to be from water, but there's got to be some of that is the oxidation upon reentry.
Yeah,
it's possible, but do you think that 8 minutes of oxidization, especially doing majority of braking in the upper parts of the atmosphere where there's low oxidizer,
but it's like
could
superheated
cause rust like that?
plasma oxygen, so
Right. And
But there's not a lot of
don't
it.
forget, it also bounced too. It
This
went
is-
in, went out, went back in
Like
again.
my checks.
it's actually
But
it's a really good question. I mean, I'm curious. I don't know who's like what is correct or what.
So-
but I think both of you raised plausible arguments.
I mean, you're gonna get that bolt. So Sawyer, I'm gonna talk through it here. Yeah, because I mean, I think you're onto something here. I suppose. All right, hypersonics now. Sweet hypersonics. Let's talk that. So you're gonna get oxygen that's going to get caught between the shock, right? The initial shock in front of the heat shield, right? And there's going to be a thermal medium in between, or just a medium in between where it's not stagnant air, but it's being compressed that it's going to stay in place. So it's possible, dude. Yeah, I mean, I would say that's possible, but also, I mean, saltwater going to do saltwater things. It rusts stuff pretty quick. But like the point that I'm trying to make is that air, that the oxygen that is being exposed to that metal during the hypersonic regime is going to be stagnant. It's just going to sit there, so it could oxidize over. It's possible, but I mean, the oxygen is basically just sitting there next to the thing. It's stuck between that and the plasma boundary. So, I mean, I don't know. You'd have to, it might not be as much oxygen as you might think because it's stuck there.
Interesting.
But again, when you're talking temperatures that high,
I mean, well, but temperature is agnostic to an iron oxide reaction, I thought. I mean, I could be wrong there.
I have no idea because I am just a simpleton. But
Are we nerd? Okay, did we get a little too technical there? We might have to reel it back in.
there's no such thing as too technical. I just have to tap out when it's too technical for me. But I appreciate the technical talk. I'm just not going to sit here and pretend I know. Like, well, actually, EJ, the thing about ablation at high temperature, like I like rockets. I take pictures of rockets. I'm just a guy with a beard.
That's fair.
Jordan Vaught, thank you for becoming a Capcom member. As a reminder, we do a post-show and a pre-show for NSF Live now. It's one of our more recent perks that we've added, and so at Capcom level and above, you get Discord access plus a whole bunch of other sweet perks, and as part of that Discord access, you can join in on the pre-show and post-show for NSF Live. So welcome to the team, to the Capcom team, Jordan, and come check out the pre-show and post-show because that's a sweet perk that you now get because you're awesome.
I'm scared about the post show for this one.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
Oh,
We're gonna
yeah.
get
It's gonna be
Conky
no,
again.
it's gonna be Conky all over again.
No.
Oh, jeez.
Really quickly, we have a couple just like grab bag questions that I've been saving. We have one here from JS Web Productions asking, do you think that New Glenn will launch this year? And if so, what do you think the chances are of a 100% successful mission and landing of booster? I think 0 chances of that. I think it'll be a successful mission. I don't know about landing the booster on the first try. And I do think New Glenn will launch this year. EJ, will New Glenn launch this year?
Yeah.
Do you
I think so.
What do you think of the chances of a 100% successful mission and landing of booster?
Oh, it'll. I think it'll do it. I think between New Shepard testing and what the flight data that was seen from Vulcan Flight 1, that they have enough.
Interesting.
There's enough testing here to at least there's a chance.
Yeah.
Also, some clarification. Sawyer, you're right. I had some clarification from my guys over in Twitch chat. Yes, reentry absolutely does cause corrosion, and the salt water exacerbates it because the corrosion pits during reentry. So yeah, okay, cool. I was wrong on that one.
Nice.
Thought I'd let you
Okay.
know.
At least
Anyway,
you got the facts
so
right.
yeah.
Well, that
that's-
also that
I was
helps,
wondering.
You know, it adds context to why it looks so gnarly. You know,
Yep.
the 1-2 punch of the
Mhm.
corrosion from reentry plus salt water. It's not.
Yep.
It's not.
They exacerbate each other. They make them worse.
Right.
They make it worse.
That's crazy.
But anyway, back to Newglands. Newglands. That's my conky. All right. Just saying.
That one's
sorry.
acceptable.
Yeah, Newglands. So yeah, I think there's enough data. No, Hoppy.
Conky. So
Oh,
you're
God.
okay with Hoppy, but you're not okay with Conky? I smell hypocrite here.
Hang on. Can I say then Rapti?
You can.
Rapti?
Yes.
Rapti, because I have the Raptor Wrangler.
So
Rapti.
EJ, Conky is me spearheading adding Y on the end of everything to illustrate how absurd it is that people add Y on the end of Hopper. So if you don't like Conky, maybe you should reassess your life choices. All right, moving right along.
Adrian in the
Sawyer?
back channel just saying that I'm feeling the pain that everyone else feels when I make a pun.
Sawyer, New Glenn.
I think.
Answer
yeah, I
New
think
Glenn
it will,
question,
anyway.
Sawyer, so we can end this.
Yes, it will launch this year. I'm going to go with like 95% success. I mean, it's a test flight. It's very rare to see a test flight that is always 100% successful. There's always going to be little details. I think it's going to get very close with the landing, so it may be possible, but I'm going to go with 95% and probably a 80% chance it nails the landing. But I think it will happen this year.
Nice. Alex? Come on, man. You can do this. I believe in you.
Oh, the glasses are going on.
If it takes longer than a minute and a half, I'm gonna cut you off.
Calculate.
So,
Oh, he did the
let's see.
meme. He did the meme.
If I do one and the other, so I'm gonna say there's a 50% chance it launches this year because it either launches or it doesn't. So obviously that's a 50%
I'm
chance.
so mad at you.
And then
I'm already so mad at you.
and then the chances that it actually is successful and then lands the booster, that I say it's a 16% chance because you have 3 probabilities, 2 different outcomes. So obviously you have 1 in 6. So that's essentially 1/6, 16%. So yeah. What about that? Is that mathematical enough?
Yeah, no, that's great. You did
I
great.
don't know, man. I don't have hunches or like whatever. If they launch, they launch. We're just gonna cover it, and I'm gonna be commentating, and
All
we're
right.
gonna be here
All
live.
right.
Whatever.
All right, Alex. You've successfully
I hate these questions.
you've successfully made me regret asking you. Good job.
It will launch. It will launch. It will be 100% successful. It will work. I'm very
There
happy
you
it
go.
will launch, and I will make happy noises. That's it. Bye.
Bye, Adrian. Thank you for that. Okay, a couple more questions, and then we're gonna wrap.
Yo.
Adrian, different. Oh my God, Adrian, different Adrian, not the one you just heard, is saying, "Can you explain to non-Americans who Miss Frizzle is?" Anyone want to take that?
Cartoon character.
It is
Dear.
a children's show, sort of, that was a way to help teach about science, so space, the human body, things
Magic
like that.
school bus. Get on the magic school bus. No, come on, it's like a It's a thing. It's a cultural
Beep, beep.
touchstone. Yeah.
In that, basically, it's a crazy teacher who has a lizard pet that goes with him, and she ends up taking her students on field trips, except the school bus is magic, so it can transform into basically anything. So
I think
it
that
can be
was just
transformed into a spaceship, which it's done before. It can be transformed small enough that you go inside the human body to see how it works.
Hear me out.
It sounds like a fever trip when I'm trying to explain it, but it was phenomenal.
Hear me out. I think that the Magic School Bus was just Miss Frizzle's cover. I think Miss Frizzle was a witch. Just putting that out there. It's my theory. Moving right along. Last question from El Hudio Games. They're saying, will you talk about the KSP situation? EJ.
Oh, that's mean.
I was kind of hoping that, Take-Two was dealing with some corporate restructuring, but seeing people post their resumes that I know that work on the game, it doesn't bode very well. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, sorry. I kind of threw you a grenade on that one, but hey, we keep things spicy here.
It's okay, I ate
Play
it.
over there.
Ah.
All right, well, as always, thank you so much to everybody for watching. EJ, Sawyer, and Alex, thank you so much for being on. And I would be remiss if I did not thank our launch directors and our flight engineer members. These are the two
Look at all these people.
highest levels of membership support. They get all the perks. They get the pre-show, the post-show, the members-only stuff, the photos, and they get their name at the end of each NSF Live episode. And yeah, just once again, cannot reiterate enough that we can't do what we do without the bedrock that is the membership program. So thank you so much to everyone that is a member. Thank you especially to our launch directors and flight engineers. And you know what? If you can't support us monetarily, don't sweat it. It doesn't have to be a monetary thing. We just like that people are hyped about space and showing up and chit-chatting with us as we pretend to be caught by the chopsticks.
I want to see that GIF. Yes, it is there.
That one's just me talking, I guess. Oh no, it's me. I had to plug my laptop in. That's right. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody. We have a ball doing this show, and we're glad you all like it. Keep the.
You also need to run right now, right?
Oh crap!
Check.
Finger
crap.
guns.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh crap.
Yeah, there's a
You gotta get
road
to the
closure.
gifts first.
There's a road. I gotta. Yeah, and then the finger guns. That was a good one. Alex doing a. Was that a heart?
Yeah, it's the chopsticks.
Me giving up on humanity.
Why are we rotating around?
It's fun. It's just more
Because
fun.
Kevin.
It's dynamic.
What?
It's either this or cube zooms, man.
We are rotating. Ooh.
Am I having
Wow,
a
we are
stroke?
moving fast.
Bamesnon's having a strunk called the
That could be
Bodulins.
taken way out of context, that image.
Why is Jack so red?
Why am I so red?
Yeah.
Why am I so red?
It's red.
Yeah, that sums up a lot of it.
Hell yeah, brother. That's right.
Oh, that was you waving
Right.
at Bideford. Thanks, Bideford.
Yep.
Alex
Show me not to give you too much crap.
upward.
Kevin, how
Oh,
many of these
jeez.
are there? I have to go set up cameras for the rollout.
No, keep it going.
No,
Keep it going. We will sit
please,
here and
no.
rotate
Keep rolling,
forever.
Keep rolling.
Make
We'll
it
sit here and
end.
rotate forever.
Make
Keep
it
rotating
end.
us.
Don't
Keep
make it
rotating
end.
the gifts.
Keep going.
The funny thing,
Keep going.
he remembered because I pointed that out.
Don't let your dreams be dreams, Kevin.
Otherwise, he will have kept on going and.
There's got to be more. Come on.
No.
All right.
Dude, just hit the replay button. Just do it again. At least rotate Jack upside down. Do something funny. Do a flip.
Cube zoom.
Let me
Cube
do-
zoom.
Let me do a barrel roll.
Cube zoom.
All right.
Parkour.
I think that closes the Let's Tell Kevin What to Do portion of the stream. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back next week as per usual. And until then, you can hang out at Starbase Live or watch all the videos. Watch Twist, watch SBU, watch...
Twist.
We have a Cape Flyover coming out. Just watch all the things. You know what to do. You know how YouTube works.
Oh, the Cape Flyover.
Oh, Sawyer's
Hey,
upside down.
That's my
Hey,
way upside
alright.
down.
All right, make it
All right.
end. Make it
No.
end.
Do not do that.
No,
And
here we go.
Here we go.
It's orange.
Propulsion continues as normal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger there, Atlantic.
Water towers, fly! Tango down to nominal.
Flighting downside SPD off. Say again, SPD off. Off. It's orange! 145! Oh my god! Decollage. Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You dead? Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Stand by around 40-second delay. Okay, we're clear from YouTube.
All right, I'll try and
Still
turn
live on
in.
Twitch.
We'll try and do the post show from the car or something. I don't know. I gotta
People
go.
were able to hear you, by the way.
I gotta go.
Use the glasses. Live stream from the glasses.
Kevin, look for a live stream on Instagram from my account and see if you can pull the feed.
Okay.
Bye, Kevin.
Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Love you, members. Okay,
dude.
bye.
Come back. Come back. Oh,
Jack
Stay
always
here.
really-
wants to leave us.
If
Stay
you really
here and
love
hang
the
around
members,
with
you'd
us.
stay.
Yeah, don't you? And Twitch chat too.
Oh
Kevin,
my
I will
god! Did he?
Kevin, I will take Jack's slot.
Do you see what
Okay.
Jack changed his name to in the members Discord?
Yak?
I can't.
Did he change it to a wild yak appears?
No, worse. Take a look
Oh.
in the member multi-view chat and look at that @
Oh, I remember.
Conky.
Yeah.
In 2 hours. It was not 4 hours, which is good
Yay.
for
So,
us because
I have
we
a
don't get
question.
tired.
I have a question. How is
Jawohl.
it that every time I'm writing the show, I'm like, oh no, we are light on topics. And then this happens.
There's
How you-
always a lot to go off.
We pretty much went right on time. That was surprisingly good.
Yeah. 2 hours, 15 minutes, more or less, which is what we were
Chad, he's
hoping
gone.
for.
Jack left. I can't say bye to him. Anyway.
Also, WJ, yes, my middle name is actually Bagel, not Batman.
And this is all despite being 4 of us. Neon
Sorry.
heat disease. Heat.
Neon
yeah, not hard.
disease.
Neon heat.
Neon heart disease sounds like that's like weird.
Yeah.
But is it?
Yeah.
But
It's
is it
going to
your
be
helium heart disease or your neon heart disease? What do you have?
argon heart disease?
Yeah, because I have Blue Origin opinions.
Holy
Oh, dear.
Echo's my middle name.
I actually have
That
to
doesn't
write
start
about
with
Blue
a B.
Origin in the new flyover. Because
Yes.
Harry's not here this weekend.
Oh yeah, you're writing and also talking.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
excited
it.
to see what you have to say about it.
Yeah, I have to. I will check with Harry. Let's say it like that.
Oh god,
You,
yeah.
yeah, it would also be. It would also be not
Now, look-
family friendly.
Look who you're
No.
talking
Oh, yeah.
to. Do you?
Yeah, the
I mean,
vision-
look.
yeah.
That was.
He's got a
yeah.
potty mouth.
Yeah,
And
I
let's
think,
not even talk about the pre-stream and post-stream of IFT, because before the stream, well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
there
was
was a
fun.
lot of cursing there.
Trying to get everything running. Yeah.
No,
We
that
have
was not
46 people. Wow, dude,
Hi,
that's
members.
that's like, yeah. Wow, I just look at the number.
And about double what we normally have. Yeah.
Yeah, like Kevin, they're old.
Damn.
Just fair warning, yeah, there is some not
they're
always
Methuselah.
family-friendly language here in the pre and post shows, thanks mainly to Jack. But
No.
I know, shocked. I tell you, shocked.
Hey, Bob.
I'm shocked. I tells you.
Yes, the NSFW.
Oh. So yeah, KC flyover writing, then Star Wars update writing, and then KC flyover recording. It's gonna be a fun night.
Yeah, I saw your note in the flyover channel.
Yeah, I will make everything in time. It's no problem.
Cool. I got to finish working on.
No.
What?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna finish working partly on the Thursday feature video that's going out, and then I've got finished the article tonight for Starliner.
Why didn't we talk about Starliner?
Because we talked about it the last 2 weeks.
Oh.
So I
Okay.
kind of skipped it for this one, and I kind of want to it will be a next big topic next week, right?
I guess, yeah.
I'll be there, so hopefully it will have launched and we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Oof.
Okay, only.
Yeah. I mean, you'll still get the pre-release of the video photos for members, so.
That's true.
True.
Yeah,
I don't
actually-
think so
I haven't
yet.
seen them.
Hey,
Yeah.
fellas, over in my chat, why didn't we talk about the Space Florida port expansion stuff, dude? Did you guys see that?
Yeah, moving the whole museum. Yeah.
No.
Oh, dude, you got it. Yeah, I mean, sorry, dude, it's crazy.
Redoing
they
an
wanna-
entire major roadway, moving a whole museum.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, always feel free to jump in with topics. Like I honestly was a bit light on topics this week because like the overarching stories were like, of course, Orion was like the screaming one, right? Like Orion was just the one that everybody talked about. But I feel like besides that, there were like, there was not these many like crazy overarching complete headline stories.
So, Parrot over in the what's up?
Oh no.
So it's kind of hard to explain without pictures, but they basically want to double the size of Port Canaveral to be able to accept.
Yeah, let me do that.
Links are over in Twitch chat too. They want to double the size of Port Canaveral. They basically want to expand. If you can picture Port Canaveral in your mind, you got like your cruise ship depot over here, right? And this would be west. That's east, right? Kevin, big screen me, dude, so people can see. Big screen me, Gatorade me. Sorry. So you're picturing Port Canaveral right here in your mind. You got the cruise ship terminal here. SR 401 goes up and over. And then you have the kind of the port right there where SpaceX is in Blue Origin now have spots for drone ships. And then there's another kind of port down here where ULA, like rocket ship, drops off cores. Right there, they basically want to dig out into, like, dig north and probably put, I'd say, at least a mile of berthing, like a huge heavy dock going up there moving the south entrance of Cape Canaveral Space Force Station to go up and around it, and putting in a huge dock for multiple providers to be able to more drone ships. That's kind of out of the way from the cruise ships. It's not an exaggeration. It's nuts, dude. I really hope they do it. It's super cool, actually.
The illustration.
There you go. I was gonna say.
Oh, dude, I do this all the
The
time.
illustration
There you go.
even shows drone ships. That's crazy.
Yeah, see what I'm talking about right here? Like, I'm telling you, about a mile of berthing area here. It's crazy, dude. I really wish we had talked about this. This is super nuts. I'm like, please do this. But
Yeah. You also have
It
the
even-
zoomed in one as well, Kevin, the second
Yeah.
one, which shows the individual drone ships.
yeah, like see all these little things right here? All those like little squares, those are drone ships.
Hang on, we
those
got
are like
TJ.
yeah. See what I mean?
Yeah,
It is an absolutely nutso expansion.
And by the way, that big giant outline, that white outline around the whole thing, that would be the highway that's currently there, State Road 401.
Yeah. SR 401 is like right here.
Currently, yeah.
And they would move it and it would go like up and around.
And is this like confirmed, or is this like a proposed?
No, this was
Proposed.
This was a proposal from Space Florida to expand Port Canaveral.
Got it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, yeah.
Well, that's actually wait, what is this? This is different than the other shot. What is this?
I think they're two different proposals, I believe.
Yeah, that's a different proposal. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you can see the old port there at the bottom, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, see what I'm talking about? What is this about? This is a different proposal.
Yeah,
This
this
one's
would
cool,
basically like make a whole new entrance to the port, right? Where they basically just pass the drone ship area.
Yeah, the thing is you got to be careful here because you can't see the blue that's like up here. This is the Banana River. You can't make a connection in there because of the locks. It would drain, well, not drain the Banana River. You'd flood the Banana River. You don't want to do that. So they'd have to build some kind of retaining wall around this, which is crazy. I actually like that idea. That idea is pretty cool.
Which it looks like they kind of create additional
Yeah, see, I
losses
like-
almost by doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. This one I think makes a lot more sense because you don't have to worry about that. The other one was over here.
Yeah.
That proposal that we're just looking at is over here. This one, this requires moving the south gate of Cape Canaveral Space Force Station right there, and it's moving it up there. Weather Manning towards me right here. See, you can tell that's the gate entrance because of the squiggly line, squiggly road.
That's crazy. I wonder if they like have two ideas just in case one of them hits like a hard no from some party involved, where they're like, nah.
I mean, this is a lot of dredging here, but if we're gonna play City Skylines here for a second, right? Like, you dredging all this out right here is probably enough to give you an artificial barrier up here. That's probably okay. Like, you probably have the right amount of dirt. I think this one would be easier than the other one. You'd move less away.
Yeah. I
Because
think
moving dirt is expensive. Very
this
expensive.
is like crazy because you could have like these crazy amounts of drone ships just passing through all of this.
Well,
I mean,
I think this proposal is to make sure that they don't foul on any other traffic going into the port.
Yeah.
Here, Kevin, I'll link you Gab's tweet with renderings of what it might look like.
Why not do both of them? I like to, dude, Twitch chat. That's why I like you.
4K no los dos.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, I do appreciate that they, in the actual document, have some illustrations of spacecraft, and there's a great one that they talk about in the full report that I believe is just listed as generic unnamed recovery ship when it's very clearly Blue's landing ship.
Yeah.
What are they gonna write? Jeffrey Bezos' mom? I still cannot get over the fact that he like named the drone ship after his mom and then got rid
Scrapped
of it.
it.
That's like
Then
that's
scrapped it.
like brutal.
Bro.
There it is. You can see the render now of the actual. Well,
Oh, here, let me get out of the way.
EJ's head, but with the physical buildings what it might look like. Oh, there's Jake.
That's insane.
Dude, it's awesome. Please do this. Please do this.
Right, that's one of the long-term recommended concepts. There's the other kind of view we were looking at of the long-term recommended concept.
I have a very hot topic, not topic, I guess dissenting opinion here.
You know, come on now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it very cleanly here because we are from members. This is bullshit. The reason why I say that is because this is not probably gonna be that needed. They say, oh, there's gonna be 1,000 launches. How many of them are gonna land boosters on the drone ship? Seriously.
By the way, Jake decided to be a members exclusive today.
We are moving
Maybe
to certain launchers that are gonna have RTLS.
Yeah, but isn't it quite possible that you might need to move those launchers between launch sites? Oh,
But that's a whole different thing. That's not actually landing on a drone ship. And then
heavy port is a heavy port, man. You're not thinking fourth dimensionally, Marty.
But then you have the turning basing for that.
Can we fit that through there?
Yeah, that's actually part of the plan. They don't have any production of a Starship at the Cape right now. So the only way to get it to get something to be launched by next year from 39A will have to be transporting it from Starbase. So how do you transport that? It kind of needs to be to
Now-
the turn basing.
All right, so here.
So yeah,
now
I really don't think there needs to be that much of an expansion. In the sense that in the future I can see, especially because they go all the way to 2073. Like, wow, that's if someone had told me, I don't know, in 1973, how many things are gonna happen in 50 years? I don't know. I just don't see that much activity in the ocean in that sense. However, you know what I do see is launch pads. Launch pads on the ocean.
That's what I'm saying,
still
man.
want to oil
I don't
rig.
think I think marine assets are something that's going to be expanded, but I don't think it's going to be landing on drone ships. You know what I'm saying? Picking up
Yeah.
what I'm laying down. Why would they? Because like the way I see it, dude, like why would they propose such a big freaking port? That's ridiculous. Because you're right. At face value, it doesn't seem like it should be there. But then you start thinking about it. You know, SpaceX wants multi-cadence, drone ships, moving starships around, maybe even moving super heavy around. You know, this makes a lot more sense, especially when you think that, dude, the turning basin, right? You know, they're going to use the turning basin, right? They're going to use the turning basin. How? Okay, so if they have other starship pads that are like at 37, like just say hypothetically, right? Like hypothetically, right? They get slick 37A and B and make them starship pads. You can't transport past 39A. You can't transport anything past 39A because that bridge that goes over Gator Hole is not anywhere near weight limited or anywhere near weight certified to move anything heavy. Can't do that. Can't move them that way. Has to come from the south gate. There's a bridge that's just next to 39A. It's not weight rated because it was never designed to move rockets around. It's the one that you know the road that runs next to the crawlerway, right? And then it goes out and then it goes to the seashore, and then it's a road that connects eventually down into Slick 41. There's a bridge right there. And that bridge is not certified for that type of weight. Now, if SpaceX, what's up?
Trying to think.
I also support your point in the fact that I think there's also other hardware. So yes, they show it right now with drone ships because I think there's also partially marketing here, right? Because you're connecting it to the whole we are expanding with rockets thing. But if there are more rockets constructed at the Cape, which is also the plan of SpaceX, it's the plan of Blue, they need more materials, right? So you need, and a good way and actually a pretty cheap way to get materials to a place is using boat. So I think having more berthing place for ship delivery is a good call. I think I would not take this for face value that this is only for drone ships. I think there's a good chance that this area will also be used for hardware deliveries, steel deliveries, you name it.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm getting at, dude. Yeah, and I think we're all
that's
in
what I'm
agreement
like.
on that one.
There's better ways to do that.
I don't I mean,
Um,
there's no better ways than water to transport material.
No,
Water is
yeah,
like basically the
I
cheapest
agree
way
with
to
that.
transport material.
I'm just saying that there's probably better locations. Like you can just have a dock next to your launch pad, which is something that at least we've seen conceived, not actually done, but conceived from Rocket Lab, for example, where they are trying to, in the future, get their rockets right next to the launch pad instead of having to transport it from some port 20 miles down the road or something like that. You just have it barge right next to your launch site. Which, to be fair, it's double there because first of all it's closer, but also because it's on your launch pad, it's your thing. Like you're not transporting it in front of everybody. You're not messing with their road closures and whatnot. You're not doing any of that harm. So you got to think about it. These people, they are a private organization that runs the Port Canaveral, right? That's all they want here. They just want to expand. They just want to have opportunities to be able to get the money. I'm gonna get the socialist out of me, I guess, here. But that's the whole point that I'm trying to make here. It's actually technically capitalist because if you think about it, for a rocket company, it will make more sense to build a barge location on their own launch pad, just like Rocket Lab. It's more economically viable and makes more sense. I don't know.
I'm looking
They're
at
just trying to sell services. That's Cape Canaveral, Port Canaveral trying to sell services and stick around and serve more rocket stuff.
I don't think the pads are the places where the hardware will go, though. I think the hardware will go to Exploration Park and to Roberts Road. I think these are the two places where the stuff will go to. So yes, I would agree if the goal was to make rockets external, but I think the plan is to make
but then you have to use
external.
that bridge anyways, the one that EJ was talking about, unless you go all the way to the turn basing.
Dude, I don't think they're going to try to build. They're not going to let them build docks right next to the pads. That's a national seashore. It's a wildlife refuge, and the seashore is already eroding like crazy. There's no way they're going to let them build a dock there.
That's probably like one environmental impact statement per pad. Like,
yes,
you have to
that,
conduct
just
like
do it
a
all in
whole
one
ice
shot
per pad.
Right?
I'm just appreciating the gift fest.
So how are they going to be moving Starship from Roberts Road all the way to Slick 37B?
Dude,
I mean, that's a general question I've asked myself since I see the location of Roberts Road, and I'm like, okay, that's where you want to build starships? Interesting.
I don't have that answer unless they upgrade that bridge.
I guess
that's
one way to.
But they are upgrading the causeway that goes to Port Canaveral. I know they're doing that.
They now move boosters there on the causeway, on the NASA causeway.
Yep. So
wait, the boosters,
not the NASA causeway, the other one. You know what I mean?
The port causeway.
Are they going down the A1A thing? Just saying that on Google.
The ITL causeway? Is that what you mean, Alex?
It's called Banana River Bridge A1A.
Well, the ITL causeway is north of the one that I'm talking about. The ITL causeway is the one that is next to Loop Road, right?
Probably closest to it, yeah.
Yeah. It's the one that is a bit more south.
So, okay, fellas,
the
a
one
little
that
bit
leads
of
to a subway on Google Maps.
Oh, you're talking about the road that branches off 528.
I don't really know any road there. It's called NASA Parkway.
Oh, that is the NASA causeway then.
Oh, okay. Well, then.
So the road that connects KSC Industrial and Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, that's NASA Causeway. That is not load rated. You cannot. I know for a fact you can't take anything over that bridge. Anything heavy, it's way too small.
Boosters now there.
Yeah.
Falcon 9 boosters.
Yeah, Falcon 9.
No,
and
over.
around it.
They
mean-
they use the NASA Causeway to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, 405 I meant, sorry, not 528.
We know that because we've seen a lot of times where they suddenly, somehow, a booster that we have seen at Roberts Road on a flyover or something like that, somehow it appears on one of the pads without moving in front of our cameras at KSC. And so it's like, how did that thing get to the other side, so to speak, without moving across the VAB? Because we have our cameras, our 24/7 cameras. So we have
Yeah.
starting to think, just because, and we have actually seen a reduction of the amount of boosters and fairing, even fairing halves. We even think that maybe even fairings with the Starlinks on board are even being moved over the causeway. That can even be a thing. We just don't have actual proof of it. We don't have pictures of it because whenever it has happened, we just know about, the fact that we haven't seen certain boosters that we have seen at Roberts Road then move in front of our cameras. And it's just too suspicious. It's like, what other road, what other way can you get to that? Like, maybe you go like all the way down south and through Port Canaveral. Like, that's
could
the
take
only
SR
way that, like,
401.
you have to go all the way, unless you take
Possible.
the NASA Causeway.
Yeah, I'm trying to take a look at the map of what you're talking about there. Because
Yeah.
NASA Causeway and NASA Parkway are basically the same road that branch off
Yep.
of 405.
Yeah, one is the Kennedy Parkway, which is south north essentially, and then the other one is east west, and you have a causeway on the west, and then another one on the east. But the east one is
So-
already on Cape Canaveral. That's the one that I say they probably use because there's no other way to really move the boosters.
The one that
across.
ends in the
So-
subway.
Fellas, I
Yes.
just got confirmation from my
Okay.
buddy. They most definitely. My buddy's telling me they definitely take boosters over the NASA Causeway Bridge. He got stuck behind one.
There we go.
So there's your
That's
answer.
awesome.
That bridge
Yeah.
must be light enough to take a Falcon 9 over it. I'm not sure about Newglands or Super Heavy or,
What's-
or
It might
Starship
even
or something.
it might even be fairing stacks because now for Starlink they do the integration of the Starlinks and the encapsulation in the fairings. They do that at Roberts Road on Hangar X2, and then they move those. And we have the 24/7 live stream, and so whenever they move, we see them. But there's been missions where they have launched a Starlink, and it's like, when did this fairing moved? Like, where is it coming from? So
Newglands.
either it's being integrated at the payload processing facility, because it could also be, or it's also being moved
Thank you.
from Roberts Road down to
It's
through the causeway.
my inability to find Roberts Road is insane. By the way, I can find everything else. I found it.
Just
every
look for
time-
the big
I don't
solar
know why-
panels.
The Blue Origin, Exploration Park, I find instantly. I look at the cave, I have it. Roberts Road, I always have to look like 2 minutes before I find it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we know that they can take Falcon 9s over that bridge at 39A and also over the NASA Causeway, but I don't think you can move anything big across that, which is interesting.
What's the dry mass of a Falcon 9, Alex? Falcon 9
It's like-
booster?
26 tons or something like that.
Yeah, 25 to 30 tons, more or less.
That's 1/10 of a Starship booster, probably.
Yeah, that bridge can move that across, but the NASA Causeway can't move. It can't move something heavy. Like they're not gonna try to like move launch pad parts across that thing. They're way too heavy.
To be
Or
fair,
like Super Heavy or Starship.
To be fair, I would be surprised if there's any roads here where you can properly move a Starship, because everything always feels very stupid once you go into Starship territory. It's like,
If
oh,
they
you can
can
move
move it-
Falcon 9 there, and then you're like, oh, yeah, that's like
Hey,
10 times the
hang
mass
on.
at 9-meter diameter.
Have you seen the
Yeah.
condition? I mean, you have seen it, Adrian, the
Possible,
condition
Bob.
of Highway 4. If they can
True.
move Starship on that road, they can
Yeah,
they
but
can
Highway
probably
4
move it
gets-
on my street or something.
But Highway 4 is destroyed, dude.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
that road is
It's-
messed up.
It's like, isn't
That's the
that the
downside.
saying? If you can do it on Highway 4, you can do it anywhere. Like that's a famous saying.
Yeah, you can do it once.
Hey, I hear
Oh.
a Jack.
Hello, Jack.
Hi. Hey,
how-
speaking of the
how would-
devil,
How are the potholes?
Well, everything from Massey's down to the beach is fine because they laboriously resurfaced it over the last 2.5 years. But they stopped at Massey's, so everything from Massey's up to the border patrol checkpoint is sheer fucking chaos.
Yeah.
it's starting
Like we
to
said,
feel like they probably
PG-13.
need to move starships all the way out to the checkpoint, right? Please move them, right?
I still want to see how they move these power sections from the Brownsville port to Boca,
Oh,
because
I have a theory.
See?
I'm not too worried about it. The shipping
Hey,
channel,
Stellar.
like there are, I got what is the appropriate term? Berth, like docking areas further out of the shipping channel, out of the port of Brownsville. If they put the segments on a barge, took them out to one of these old dirt areas, there's a couple heavy duty gravel roads going from the channel to Highway 4 after where Massey's is. So they could bypass the Port Connector Road and all the crazy potholes with like a quick barge trip and then an SPMT on a gravel road, which they already do, taking ships to and from Massey's, which the road to and from Massey's is not great, but it's like a compacted dirt road, so it's very much not special.
See, the thing is, that's when you get a benefit from having your own dock on your own launch pad.
I'm always just wondering, because the transport will take forever for these tower segments. Let me cook here. I'm saying, this is a weird theory, but I think
Ooh,
they
speaking of
might
order
cooking, I
in
need
dinner.
to eat something.
Yeah, I'm ordering in dinner now.
That's
why I
how
apologize for not
we
looking at the
discovered that
camera.
everybody's hungry right now.
I cannot order anything because it's almost 2 a.m. now, but yeah.
But I think they will move it on either a big testing or launch date, because I think they they have to close Highway 4 like a few hours for this. And the tower segments are huge, so they kind of lock down everything behind that. And I wonder if there's a restriction to the production site where, if you get to this point, you like, for example, emergency vehicles. What if there's a big emergency at the production site? There's no way to easily get to the production site while these tower segments are produced there. So I wonder if they have to basically kind of close down everything for like half a day, move down every single tower segment, and then open again, because it's that big of a hassle.
I don't think it's going to be that big of a thing. Like, I don't know if my barge theory is correct. It's just a complete theory, but if they do that, it's no worse than moving something to or from Massey's. Like, it would literally be no different. It's just instead of going left off Highway 4, you go right off Highway 4. Or, yeah.
I still have a hard time to see that, because these tower segments are very, very heavy.
They are super heavy.
Yeah, there's.
Oh.
Somebody tell SPL operators that CP11's coming up.
Hey, SPL operator. Why am I telling this in this chat?
You need help.
All right.
Following?
So if they use the port connector road, just because I at some point was bored and looked at that, we are looking at an 8-hour transport from port connector road meeting Highway 4 to all the way to Boca.
To be
if
fair,
you go SPMT level speed.
I'm gonna do a
fellas.
to be fair kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I really don't think they're going to do Port Connector Road. I don't know why I think that, but it just seems like it just doesn't seem. I don't know. It doesn't seem like that's what they'll do.
Hey, fellas, real quick, Alex. I don't want to interrupt. I'm gonna be back 1 second. You guys, how long is this conversation going for? I gotta go for like 5 minutes.
We're probably wrapping up soon.
That's one Alex. Yeah. That's Alex. One Alex answer. You're fine.
All right, cool. All right, I'll be back in a second. Don't end without me. I'll be back. Chad, I'll be
I
right
have a
back.
question for Jack here, because I know there's a certain place across like the Ad Astra location, I believe, where they had made some kind of clearing, and that's probably like half the trajectory, right? Like half the distance.
That's exactly. No, I'm not talking about that specific area, but somewhere in that area, if you look at a satellite view, even just the dirt parts versus the green parts, you can see that there's multiple little.
No. I'm not saying about transporting the tower segments from that location. I'm saying moving them from the port connector road all the way to that location and letting them stay there maybe for a day and then move the rest again next day and have two closures instead that are shorter and allow instead of one day having the road closed for 8 hours, you have it closed maybe 3 or 4, 2 days.
Yeah, that's plausible. They could also stash them at Massey's or on the Massey's road. Like
Yeah.
that's also completely doable.
And
You just
have
take
it
them
there.
halfway.
Exactly, have it there for like maybe you do it on a night. For example, you transport them on a 4-hour closure, for example, during the night when practically nobody is around there. You probably don't need any emergency stuff, right? You do that, and then you put them at Massey's, and then from Massey's they take another 4 hours or so to get to the launch site. So then you do that on the next day, and then you have, instead of one big 8-hour closure, because even one little thing happens, and then that 8-hour closure extends to 10 hours or something. I don't know. Like that might be a way as well of stop them, stage them for like one day, just one day in the middle, and then you continue the next day.
I'm really curious. I think these how wide are these tower segments? They are wider than 9 meters, right?
Yeah, they are wider than 9 meters. Yeah.
So they're probably more of a hassle than a booster.
I mean, they moved them from the production site down to the launch site, no problem. The same as they moved ships and boosters. They were
Yeah.
definitely like took up more of the road, but I mean,
I think
I don't know. I really don't think it's going to be that big of a deal.
I think it's only not a big of a deal if there's a good chance that there might be some security things ignored, but that would not be a first thing a Browns will ever. But I have boosters, you can see cars moving past. Like we have seen in the past where the booster can pull over and cars can go past. I have a hard time seeing that with a tower segment.
Yeah, that's fair, but they haven't done that with a ship or a booster in a hot minute. Like they don't need to anymore. They're moving so fast. But that's not to say they would have the system down the same way for power segments on a piece of road they've never driven anything on. Like that's definitely a complication. But I don't know. I think they'll use a barge and a dirt road and eliminate a huge part of the headache. But I could be completely, totally wrong.
I think they're using the port connector road, but they are right now waiting for all of them to arrive. And they will use port connector.
Spoiler alert for the flyover. They're still working on the tower segments at KSC.
Yeah, I saw that.
Shocked, I tell you, shocked.
It's complete bonkers. By the way, did you see the New Glenn? I'm totally discussing like flyover stuff here now. Did you see the second stages out there again?
I haven't looked at all the pictures yet. I'll look at them when I edit, but cool.
Yeah, the probably not flight hardware, but out there New Glenn second stage is out next to the Mini T.
Wasn't it out there last flyover, or was it just the Mini T?
I think I'm not sure if it was just that or both. But it's interesting that it's like I think at this point I feel very confident it's not a flight stage because it's just sitting out there a lot, and I feel like actual flight hardware would not just sitting around outside of the hangar constantly.
Which one?
Was 2CAT open?
What hangar do you mean?
The one at the pad.
They have.
Oh yeah, that is the one that they use for full stack testing. That is not for flight.
Yeah, it's the qualification stage.
Yep. They do have one. Do we have any white shots?
I'm looking at the. I'm now curious about the Oh.
I do know that
Yeah.
there's one stage that is right outside of one of the buildings.
The
'cause I've seen
cat
that
was
from-
open.
It was. That's why I was wondering if there was anything in there.
There is very much a whole stage in the 2cat.
Yeah, that I had seen from ground pictures, but there's also from the ground pictures I saw something that I don't know. It looked like a big cylinder kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see a lot of pictures from Exploration Park this time around.
Max has videos of Exploration Park.
By the way, Eric, I'm gonna guess the Bruins.
Yeah, but I cannot see the videos well.
Interesting.
This is Roberts Road.
Yeah, Max has pictures of. Yep, we're still
I was
there.
just telling him.
I made it back in time. All right.
I was just telling him how your hockey team is very likely the New York Rangers and totally not the Bruins.
But yeah, in the 2cat,
What?
there's a full New Glenn second stage.
What?
You would root for a New York team, right, Mr. Boston?
I would rather punch myself in the dick.
I don't see anywhere the thing
What?
that
Max,
hell?
you're searching at Max pictures, I think.
The hell, the Yankee, bro?
I'm looking at the
Pinstripes are
video.
for pansies.
I don't see.
You scared Jake with that.
Kevin,
I don't see the
picking-
cylinder that I
you're
was
picking the
talking
wrong
about.
fight. You're picking the wrong fight here.
There's a thing near the Exploration Park on Blue Origin grounds. Ah, there we go. Now I'm seeing
Thanks.
it.
Thanks, Twitch
Now I'm
chat.
seeing it. Hang on, but it's on the
All right,
video. I don't see it on the pictures.
There's no fight.
I don't know
Well,
why.
by the way,
There you go.
Why is it there? Hang on. I really need to
All right.
find a better view.
Also,
I'm gonna
for
go
hockey,
back
like
into my
the
Twitch
Rangers.
hole, dudes.
There we go.
Oh,
Here.
jeez, get out
go
of
ahead,
here.
EJ. Oh,
this
you want to say
cylinder.
something?
No, I'm gonna say I'm gonna go back in my Twitch hole. I'll see you guys later.
See ya later.
Hi.
It was fun. I'll see you guys.
Bye.
No, I don't like you, Kevin. Go away.
See Control Center, Adrian.
Yes.
Like, what the heck is that?
You know something? You suck.
I mean, that obviously.
I agree with Kevin.
That's an after end of a New Glenn, right?
I don't know.
You can see it
You know-
getting
you know
wider at
what?
the bottom,
You know what?
and you can,
No,
I think,
no,
see
shut
the
it down.
strakes.
Shut it down. We're not listening to this. Shut it down. Shut it down now. Shut it down. Get rid of all that. Get rid of all that. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. No, get rid of all that crap. Get that crap. This is crap. This is bull. This is bull crap. I'm not gonna take this crap. I'm not gonna take this. This is ridiculous. Just being out, dude. Frick that. Hey, I'm back. Ugh. So, fun fact, I got Bremo sick, so that's good. Just in time for the weekend. You know, that's